Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to another All Around Sorare podcast. Today we're joined by Sorare Capital, as always. How are you doing, bud?
I am well, thank you, my friend. What about yourself?
Not too bad. And our special guest, Kobe, better known as Detroitbadboy on Twitter, or the player on 2 limited messes for no reason. How are you, bud?
You really got to put my gallery on spot, huh?
Oh, you're going to get a lot of that throughout this podcast. There's going to be like Lucho references and everything.
Perfect.
How are you doing? How's everything going? How's your game week and everything going?
Game week's got potential, so we'll see. I mean, it's still a lot of time, but there's a lot of pieces there, a lot of money to be won. So I'm eager to see how everything shakes out on Monday's stream.
Yeah, I saw you won a nice chunk of change on your stream, or last week with your Celtic stack.
Dude, that and then PSV stack this week. Whew.
Oh yeah,
the new in-season cards are paying off. That's for sure. Yeah,
you do just throw all the money at the end season, don't you? That's all right. If you watch his streams, you'll see he just throws money at random players like Sven comes and Zampedri.
I try to make it. I do it for the people, right? That's what I do it for. You guys just say a name, and I go on there and I buy it. So half the time, I'm probably buying your cards that you're plugging, anyways. So
true, yeah, it's true. You probably are. But no, I give you good names on stream. So my sources tell me. Well, you might have a little story for us about Cincinnati and the Players' Lounge that I've heard before, but Cap hasn't and the viewers hasn't. So tell us a little Cincinnati story.
Yeah, okay, long story. So we'll kind of start there. I'm from Ohio, so my dad has season tickets for the Columbus Crew, and then my wife's stepmom, she is the head of HR for FC Cincinnati. So kind of have the plug there, and so we have season tickets. And usually after the games, we get the access to the friends and family lounge, which is pretty cool. So definitely have some inside scoop, get to hang out with some of the players, get pictures and all that afterwards. Have a couple conversations with Pat Noonan, the coach. And yeah, a little skinny there, that's for sure.
You got a few words about Lucho Costa. Doesn't he just come in and just go out again? He doesn't spend a lot of time.
There's a few of those players. I mean, when you're Lucho and you're carrying the weight of that team week in, week out, you kind of just do your thing in the locker room, grab your stuff and grab your family and kick it. So yeah, there's a couple players who are a little more open to hanging out, letting you, shoot the shit and whatnot. But there's a couple of those guys who are like, hey, give you the head nod, but don't approach them.
So who's the friendliest one you've met then?
That's what I was going to ask.
Malik Pinto. Malik Pinto is probably the friendliest. He's always down for a picture. You can dab him up, hang out, chit chat. So I wouldn't say he's one that's normally in the starting 11, but definitely one of the friendliest ones out there. That's for sure.
So like players get asked all the time, like, oh, who's the last to lead the gym? Like, who's the last to lead the locker room? Who's the last to lead the player lounge? Who stays there the longest and just like vibes are already? Coaches as well. You can include coaches as well.
So Pat Noonan and Chris Albright, they hang out there for a long time, and they do their rounds. So they come out, hang out with everybody. Player wise, it was Brandon Vasquez, and I will, when he was still here, he had his boys in there, which is cool because it's kind of like an all you can eat, all you can drink thing. So you're hanging out there getting free drinks, and some people take advantage of it, and other people, just kind of linger. So.
That is cool. If we had that over in the UK, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? Like, I don't even think the players go in the player lounge after a game over here, right? They just go. They may walk past it and then just go to the bus or home or wherever they need to go. But yeah, the hospitality stuff in America is unreal compared to over here, definitely.
You know what I love actually? Like we said this on a previous episode, and may have been with Deke before. But I actually really enjoy is it the goalie wars? They do it before the game or half time or something.
Just do that.
I don't know, but they do little quite archaic sort of things within the game. Do you know what I mean? Like during half time and stuff like that, and it looks quite fun at times. I've never been to an MLS game, so I'm not sure what they fully do there. But from what I understand, it's they just do these little things. It just seems just fun, just a better overall experience. Because in England, it's just literally you wait for the first whistle, you wait for half time, you wait for full time, and that's pretty much it. But with this other thing, it's quite interactive. It looks like from what I can sense in America.
Yeah, they do a great job, especially at halftime. I mean, for American sports, halftime is very much an entertainment based too.
Mhm.
So for football, I mean, you've got performances by the biggest names, you know, especially for like Super Bowl. And I think that's kind of where it originated from. And the MLS was like, hey, so halftime, if, you know, some of the guys, more reserve players will go out there and they'll do rondos, you know, they'll do juggling wars, they'll do keeper wars, those kind of things. It's very much a team based where, you know, some do, some don't. But yeah, it's I mean, it's super cool, especially like if you're trying to scout a guy, like we're talking Sorare, right? So if you're trying to scout a guy and you see this newcomer who's coming through and out there juggling, you're like, oh, you know, you kind of get some of the pieces that you don't get to see because they don't play in those games. And so they're doing it at halftime or even before kickoff, before the first team comes out there. So like that, usually it's like the hour and a half. They let the gates open 2 hours before kickoff, but like the hour and a half, like the reserves will come out there and they'll do all their stuff. So you grab a pint, you go grab some food, and you go sit down, and there's something to watch.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm surprised you know anything about the halftime sort of stuff, because I thought you and Socrates, or like on the sock man, would just be down in beers at halftime as many as you can get going.
We do that, so we do that. But yeah, you know, you kind of you get your fair share of it too. Especially the crew have brought in a lot of newcomers, so it's kind of fun to sit out there and kind of scout them, see who's got potential, and that always makes it more enjoyable.
That's good. That is good.
Yeah.
We're going to move across the pond now, because you have been across the pond to watch some football.
I have. Now we just got to get you and Cap over here to the States. I'll make it a full weekend. We'll go see FCC, and then we'll go see the crew.
The flight
Really
will take
easy
a
drive.
weekend to get over there.
Here, you fly into Detroit. It's easy, no stops, and then we'll drive down to Columbus and FCC. It's like 3-4 hour drive. Very manageable.
It's a date. All right, let's get it booked.
It's like, is this only a 3 or 4 hour drive? It takes us 3 or 4 hours to get to the other side of the country in the UK.
Well, that is, see, now we're talking difference. United States geographically compared to the UK, a little bit different. But you guys have it figured out too. Like the train system over there is brilliant. Like I didn't talk about this story, but in November we took the train from London to Manchester to go see United versus Luton Town. And I didn't realize that you scan your ticket once you get off, that opens up. And I saw this guy waiting there in front of me, and I couldn't figure out what he was doing. And he said, "Go ahead, mate." And I was like, "Okay." So I scanned my ticket, and the dude bolted right in front of me. And I was like, "Holy shit. This guy just totally cheated me out of my ticket." So Socrates was with me, and I said, "Dude, you're going to have to scan your ticket, and we're both going to have to dead sprint this through." And so he scanned his ticket. I run through, and the doors go to shut, and it catches his backpack. And so he got stuck in it, and we grabbed his backpack and just got through. And the police just looked at us like we were a bunch of dumb Americans, but it was quite the adventure.
Go on, tell us about your first ever, because obviously, if people don't know, you are a United fan as well, unfortunately. As you can tell by his accent, he's a definite United. Tell us about your first weird game like that you saw live. It doesn't have to be in the UK, it can be in America.
My first game is what you're saying?
What was that experience like?
So my first time actually in Europe was 2016. So Socrates and I, and then my granddad, and my other best buddy, we flew to Paris for the Euros. We did like 2 weeks there, and then we went, and then we flew to London from there. Spent a week. We toured the Emirates, a few other places, because that was kind of, the off season, and that was pretty cool. And that was my first time over in Europe. And I gotta say, like, just being over there, it's totally different. You guys eat, sleep, and breathe soccer.
Yeah. Football,
I should say football. Here, it's just not the case. So it's always nice because people just don't. It hasn't evolved to where it is over there. Like with you all, it's a religion. You have a team, and you die and you bleed for that team. And if your team loses, your weekend is ruined, essentially, right? Here, it's like, oh well, life goes on, and it's no big deal.
Do you know what?
And that's kind of that.
You know, it's such a shame actually that America don't take it more seriously, because I think if you guys did, you would be up there with one of the better nations, because I feel like your facilities and stuff are always world class. And like we were just talking off air about the college system that you guys have in place as well. Like, you guys get that in comparison to what you get in England. You just get like a little park. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just some goals that are set up and whatever. You guys get full on world-class facilities at such a young age and stuff, and it's just such a shame that the country doesn't take it as seriously as what you do with NBA and baseball, you know. So, but yeah, if you guys ever did, I think Zlatan has come out and said quite a few things about how the MLS have been setting up, and that, you know, how you have, I don't know the rules inside and out for the MLS in regards to bringing foreigners into the league and stuff, but you handicap yourselves quite a lot, from what I understand. You know what I mean? Like, having these certain fixtures and fees and saying, oh, we can only have a certain amount of foreign players and all this stuff. And it's like, if you guys didn't have all those, do you think you guys would be much bigger than what you guys are, and like considered more, taken more seriously, I guess you can say, in regards to a football league?
Oh, there's no questions asked. I mean, you know, like you said, we talked about it off air a little bit. And so in November, Socrates and I went over and we checked out Spurs' new stadium. So you all, it's state of the art, and it was great. But that's just another stadium here in the MLS. But the problem is like you said, we really do handicap ourselves. We can only have one Zlatan. We can only have one Wayne Rooney per team. Yeah. And most of the people that we're getting are, like it's been said, end of their careers, kind of coming here. Hey, want to go check out Hollywood. I'll live here for a little bit. The Messi tour right now, right? You know, kind of hanging out, reaping the rewards. But Inter Miami is a different beast because of all they've been able to do, and that's really shaken up the MLS, because you're right. We only get so many designated player spots, and you can't play these guys day in and day out and pay them lucrative amounts of money. It doesn't happen, because all of our money is in the facilities and the marketing, trying to grow the game here. But how it started was, you know, giving a platform for American players. And I think it was, we just didn't have the development that you all had. And so it was like, okay, let's bring our system here. So it's bringing more college kids to play at the higher level. And that's kind of why it started off really rocky in the 90s. And it's picked up some steam. You know, we have having Beckham really revolutionized MLS and really brought that to light. And I know that was a big deal when he came over here, especially for you all. It was like, what is he doing? But that really shifted the culture, and now you see the talents that were a bit like a Benteke, you know, who's been here now for a few years, and being able to be the heart and soul of DC United. It's really shaked things up, and I think the future is definitely bright. Facilities, everything is wonderful. It's just talent, and then the handicaps. We just gotta figure out that.
Yeah, because you've got some brilliant players within it now. Like, obviously, like Toronto are doing all right with Insigne and Bernardeschi. Who else have you got these days? Obviously, you've said Inter Miami with Busquets, Alba, and Messi, of course, and Suarez. Yeah, I just wonder if you guys, why America don't see it as almost, you know, or the MLS, I should say, how it doesn't handicap them in any way. Because, like I said, Zlatan's come out a few times and said it. I know he's not the only person who's come out and spoke about it as well. And it's like, why doesn't that change? Because obviously you'll have the money to pay these lucrative contracts despite the facilities that you're paying for. Just why do you think that is, that they carry on doing what they're doing?
I've got a perfect answer for you. You ready for this?
NFL.
It is the Glazer mentality. You know, if we don't have to pay all of this money for these players, that's more money in our pockets. If we don't have to pay to reinvest in these facilities, it's more money in our pockets. Yeah. So that's why we don't have promotion relegation in the United States. We have the capability. Like in Detroit, which is where I live in Michigan, we have a team. DCFC is the local team. Gets about 3,000 to 5,000 fans. So it's, you know, it'd be like a smaller Division 4 English team, but you know, we look at that, the potential is there. You know, some of these teams actually do show up and play well against the MLS teams we have for the US Open Cup, but this year a lot of those teams in the MLS decided to drop out of it because the move for promotion relegation has become so big, and that's the problem. Is these owners, they've shelled out a lot of money, and now they see the vision of 10, 20 years to 3, 4, 5x their money. And if we have to pay these contracts like Messi's, I mean, it's not there. But now we're kind of seeing it because Inter Miami is really shaking things up here. That we're bringing in Messi, Suarez, Busquets, Alba. Rumors of Sergio Roberto maybe even coming over and joining that team. It is wild to see. And, maybe some of these owners will kind of open up their pockets, but it is the Glazer mentality. Why continue when everyone's still going to come to the games anyways? The facility's still going to open up. Old Trafford, I hate to say it, but when I was there, it was a dump. Like I expected the theater of dreams. And I really, and don't get me wrong, like I am a diehard United fan. That's why we were excited. It was Luton Town, but I didn't care. Like we took the train up. That was the whole point of the trip. And when we got there, excuse my French, but it smelled like piss. Like I was dumbfounded. I was dumbfounded by how much of a trash chute it is. I mean, in the States, we have padded seats almost everywhere. We have state-of-the-art air conditioning. Your hot dogs are absolutely the grossest things I've ever had. You guys have never had an American hot dog. It clearly shows because I had 2 bites of the one that I had there, and I had to throw it away. That thing was a foot-long wiener. And I think you were more bang for your buck, and ours is quality. That's for sure. So it's different, man. It's different.
All right, okay. I want to roll back a little bit. So I want to ask a question about the US men's national team. All right. So if you remember, you'll remember because we're all about the same age here. I think you'll remember of old where they had Landon Donovan, Clint Dempsey, Claudio Reyna. Yeah, Landon Donovan. I saw that when I was watching before. I saw Landon Donovan on there, and Tim Howard and younger Tim Ream. So all those players. Would you say that generation is better than the current generation that you have now with Weston McKennie and stuff?
I think the team was united more than what our team is now. I think we have the potential. Like you see a Christian Pulisic. We didn't have a guy who's performing in a top tier club like AC Milan. Landon Donovan, I know he had a spell with Bayern Munich.
Wait a minute. You had Claudio Reyna, who was at Man City, and he was a legend. He was an absolute legend.
Man City don't have any legends. Your club's 5 years old.
Claudio Reyna was class. I love Claudio Reyna.
His son is better. Gio is better. But the problem is that team, when we were growing up, 10 to 14, just different. They knew that there was some slight potential here, but they made the most of it. I will never forget, in the World Cup in 2014, when we had a San Jose striker and Chris Wondolowski, who missed the sitter versus Belgium. I'll never forget it. I mean, there was a team that these guys weren't great, but they united as a team. It was kind of like a dark horse, And I know in the Euros, Turkey was a dark horse. It was kind of like that. They didn't have an Arda Güler, someone who was potential world class, but they had a lot of bits and pieces that really worked well together. So compared to this team, it's tough. I think we have more potential, but we just haven't tapped into it. And I think half of that is to blame with our coach. We can really get into that, but
I love the old American, the old American men's national team, DeMarcus Beasley and Claudio Reyna. Oh, those are some absolute legends, Landon Donovan and Clint Dempsey, Casey Keller. Remember Casey Keller?
Dude, so Casey Keller, funny enough, him and Brad Friedel opened up a soccer school. So it was the first time we've had a dedicated school for soccer. Because here in the States, you go to a public school and they teach you all different types. But no, it's not dedicated to soccer. There was a school in Cleveland, Ohio that was that. And growing up in Ohio, we would go to that tournament every summer, and it was 7v7, and it was top talent coming through. Amazing. But then again, soccer just wasn't developed yet, and that school folded so quickly. I think within 5 years they closed the doors, and now that it's just an abandoned school. It's sad.
Well, yeah,
that's a shame.
That is a shame.
And I tell you what, I mentioned Sergio Roberto. I just got the news from Fab that he will announce his departure with Barcelona in the next 24 hours. So we could see him signed to Miami.
Buy Sergio Roberto quick before he signs. Buy Sergio Roberto.
just trying to break the news,
News broken live on All Around Sorare podcast. He's our own Fabrizio Romano for the MLS, isn't he? That's what he is.
He is. I was going to ask them before we get off the topic of the MLS, because I find it all quite intriguing. Who is someone that, well, both of you really, who has been your favourite player within the MLS, past and present? So like, I'll kick things off. I used to love Sebastian Giovinco. I used to love it. He's like the original Iniesta. The original Insigne. And I just loved him, the way he played, and just being tiny little guy on the pitch, and he would just do so much. And he was just brilliant to watch. And I actually used to watch a little bit of Toronto because of him. It's crazy how that sort of influenced you to start watching it. Like, obviously, we're all within Sorare, and it's like, I'm watching La Liga too. I'm watching Bundesliga too. I've also been watching the MLS because of it, and that's also obviously the beauty of Sorare. But who for you guys have made you really fall in love with the MLS?
Go ahead, Jonesy.
That's so tough, man. Because if it's a DP player, it would probably be like Pirlo. Because I'm a City fan. My original team was New York City. Now I'm a bit more of a Seattle fan. So when I used to turn New York City on at like 1 a.m. on Sky or something, it would always be like Pirlo. They had Lampard as well. So it's probably one of them two, I would say. David Villa was there for a time. He was unreal. They have got some big players in the MLS, and they brought big players in. So yeah, one of them three, just because of the New York affiliate.
I remember Kobe saying it earlier. It's a shame that they come on the back end of their career rather than something, like late 20s or something. It's usually like your early to mid 30s, even late 30s. We see it with, like you said, Frank Lampard, David Villa, Zlatan, all these players that come over, Beckham, who were like there for a holiday, essentially, what it felt like. Do you know what I mean? So it's a shame that the money isn't paid. It's like what people were willing to move. You've seen it with Saudi Arabia. Do you know what I mean? Like, people are willing to move with the money's there, and Ronaldo's the ambassador essentially for the Saudi league, and now Messi's the ambassador for the MLS. But it's a shame they can't capitalise on those sort of things. Bring in more players, and it's not just all going into one club like Inter Miami. It's a shame it's not spread out. But yeah, sorry, Kobe, mate. Who is yours?
Yeah, so I'll go past first. And so the name Kobe originates actually from Kobe Jones. He was an LA Galaxy star. And my dad loved him growing up. Loved him. Loved his story, kind of going through. He was a walk-on at UCLA. So we talked about colleges. I mean, UCLA is one of those humongous stadiums. Tons of fans all throughout the country. But Kobe Jones kind of went through that, and then was the U.S. men's national team. I'd argue legend. Clearly, I'm biased, but he was great for us, especially like in the '98 World Cup. I think I have his jersey. It's somewhere hung up. I don't have it framed like my Donovan jersey, but yeah, Kobe Jones, clearly, because that's my namesake. That's who I was named after. So in the early years that the Columbus Crew and the MLS originated, every time that the Galaxy would come to the old Crew Stadium, that we would hang out before the players would get on the bus to go to the airport. And Kobe would always get off the bus when I would be out there, and he would jump off and get a picture with me. I have all this signed stuff from him, and we really grew that bond. So clearly, I've got something there with him. But now new guy is Cucho Hernandez for the Columbus Crew. So Socrates and I think it was 2 weeks ago, went to the friendly versus Aston Villa. And I don't know if you saw, but Cucho had a first half hat trick versus them and absolutely tore him up. And Cucho is a guy who was in the Prem, who came to MLS. So, kind of contradictory from how the MLS is really built. And I think he will be a name that after this season definitely comes back into the Prem.
Yeah, I remember seeing Cucho at Watford. I think on his debut he scored, and then he did nothing after that. I'm sure it was at Watford. I might be wrong.
Finishing wise, he's class. He just doesn't have the pace. So like if he had a FIFA card, his pace would be like a 72, but his finishing would be like a 80, 88, I would say. Oh.
He has got Rossi helping though, right? Is Rossi?
Diego Rossi, yeah. I mean, just this week, Rossi had a brace. We beat Sporting Kansas City 4-0 in the Leagues Cup. So, yeah, that team is very well built. Wilfred Nancy is a name who's on the short list for the U.S. men's national team. I think he has loads of potential. The way we build and play out of the back is reminiscent of kind of style with City. You know, it's a very well-oiled machine, and you need someone who's comfortable with their feet like Ederson is, and that's kind of what we have with Patrick Schulte.
Yeah, he's losing under 23 utility, so that doesn't help me like for next season. Told you, Chris Brady all the way. Go on, Chris Brady.
I'm a decent. I'm a big fan of that. So I say I'm a big fan. I forgot his bloody name now. It just left me think. But the Montreal goalkeeper. He's under 23 as well. Yes, serious. Yeah, I enjoy him. He's quite a good, decent little keeper from where I've watched him as well.
Is that Sirius Black, Harry Potter's uncle?
Yeah. Don't
worry, we get Harry Potter over here in the States. I think it originated here. We had J.K. Rowling. I think she's an American.
British.
Is she British? Oh,
yeah.
Nah, look at classic American trying to take credit for something that's not ours.
You didn't try and take credit for our hot dog, so we'll give you credit there.
There you go.
Yeah, I remember going to this. Oh, sorry, I remember going to the States on holiday, and it was you guys do everything like everything's. I find everything's all more about quantity over quality because I'm so used to obviously English, and I've lived in Australia, so I'm used to English and Australian food. Where it's more quality, I think, personally. But where you guys said, like, I said, yeah, we'll get a large pizza, and it ended up being like absolutely humongous. And it's like, oh, I'll get a large drink, massive drink, like the size of this blooming can, just absolutely humongous again. So it's just crazy. The portion sizes you guys get over there is nuts. But again, yeah, I digress. It's
a slippery slope, right? Like you bigger portions, and the problem is with Americans, we just want something that's easier. So it's easier for us to have a huge drink that we'll throw away because we'd rather that than have to get up and go get a refill. So it's actually quite sad when you really think of it. Yeah, it's a simplistic lifestyle over here. So
it is. But I feel like you guys do it right. Even like your houses and things like that. It's just all better value for money in comparison to over in the UK, but yeah. I
don't know. Inflation right now, it's an interesting times in the States, especially what we have going on like politics-wise. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. But
this is not a political podcast, so.
So I've got a crucial question. Tell us about how you got into Sorare, how you found Sorare. Like you started the journey.
So it's funny. Really, my journey kind of starts with FIFA Ultimate Team. Like in the early days of FIFA 10, I loved the idea. I'm always someone. My dad was a card collector. My grandpa even had his own card shop. So we would rip everything as a kid. Pokemon cards. I mean, you name it, everything. And so kind of the thrill from Ultimate Team was doing something like that. And then I had a lot of friends who was doing Ultimate Team, and then we would FPL. And so we would, kids. Do it for bragging rights and things like that. And it wasn't until recently one of my friends said, hey, I heard about this Sorare, and it's kind of like cards but having utility. So I checked it out. I showed it to Socrates, and he dove well in very quickly, dropping thousands of dollars and showing me all these cards. And then I had FOMO, so I'm getting up in the middle of the night. I joined as soon as the Premier League had the rights with Sorare, and that was, some would argue that was a good/bad time. For me, it was a bad time because we look at like a Erling Haaland limited, and I mentioned this on stream. That's one of my bad buys I've ever had. I paid $917 for an Erling Haaland card, who now is valued at like an old season card, like $150 maybe last time I checked. So it's tough, and I understand a lot of people, when I introduce Sorare, they always have let's open up your profit loss statement. Like let's see your losses on that. And I'm like, it's a sort of gambling in a sense too. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. You accept it for you're playing for fun. And really it's what got me off FIFA Ultimate Team. Because year after year I'd rinse and repeat. I dropped thousands of dollars on Ultimate Team. I'd have a full legend team by January when team of the season would come out. And then I'd lose fun. I wouldn't play. And the only reason I play is because I feel like I had put so many thousands of dollars in that was the only thing that was driving me to go back in, that I didn't want to have a product that I was just wasting money away.
Yeah.
So I think, my duration of FIFA 10 I quit when I joined Sorare because I knew this was the future. So 10 to 22 an Ultimate Team. And I tell you, you mentioned it, Jonesy. You say a player and I go buy it. I kind of, I have that mentality, but I really did spend so much money on Ultimate Team. And year after year, I'd ask myself, why am I doing this? They all just elite. You restart. There's nothing to gain from it. And I think that's where Sorare really comes into play and has that advantage that, you don't have to rinse and repeat. And if you do your homework, you can prevail. So.
Yeah, exactly. I've offered you a game on FIFA, but you keep saying no.
I don't have this year's FIFA. I've totally omitted it from, kind of my every day. I used to play it for 2-3 hours every single day coming back from work, and now with Sorare, that's kind of taken its place.
You should run a Road to Glory. Not a Sorare Road to Glory, but a FIFA Road to Glory where you don't spend any money.
See, you see my streams. I can't do it. You guys say a player, and I'm like, all right, pull the trigger.
So people are like, oh, put $15 and get a pack open.
Yeah, slippery slope. That is.
Yeah, we've all stopped playing FIFA now. I mean, I've pretty much stopped now playing FIFA like this year. We had a go at it, didn't we, Cap? Like us two playing together for a bit, but it's just not there anymore. It's not like the old FIFAs, unfortunately.
It's just reskinned every year, isn't it? Like, there's nothing different about it each year. There has to be some sort of like competitor for me want to get back on it again. Like, it's just boring, repetitive. But anyway, staying on the subject of Sorare, I wanted to sort of know for you, like, since being in Sorare, have you found that you have a new love for another team? Because obviously you're American. Have you found yourself dabbling into, like, some Australian, I should say, sort of teams, or have you gone to La Liga 2 like myself, or Bundesliga 2, or just any of the top 5 leagues in general?
Top 5, I've always kind of dabbled in. I love the Champions League, so having the access to the mainstream teams here in the States is pretty easy. We have it on every single platform. Peacock, ESPN, I mean, you name it. You can find any game you want. But I will say, so kind of an off-brand for an American is someone like Celtic. So woke up this morning at 6:30 to check the lineup to make sure that my team was ready to go for the SPFL special. And then my family was here for my son's birthday, so my dad came over. We watched the Celtic game this morning. But before Sorare, if you would have told me Celtic was on at 7:30, you better believe I'm sleeping at 8:30. I'm not getting up for that game. So there's a few like that, like PSV, Ajax. I mean, I know Ajax with Johan Cruyff has always been a name, but for us, it's very much mainstream. It's like Premier League, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Bayern Munich, maybe and PSG with recent, like the Neymar. But after that, like asking an American about football teams, they don't know. And so having access to all these other teams with Sorare has really broadened my horizons, I'd say.
And who would you like? Would you want to bring, if you were the Sorare CEO now, right? You took over Nilas, right? And people were demanding that you bring in one league. Yeah, what league would you bring in fully licensed?
I'd say the championship. I think I love promotion relegation. I think that's the future of MLS if they ever would come to it. But like I mentioned, being from Detroit, we have a small local club who's really trying to bid into the MLS, and that's the problem. You have to pay for an expansion fee of $500 million. Try to get a couple, owners to shell out that money. It's not likely. It doesn't happen. And to have these success stories like a Leicester City, I thought that was the coolest thing. What was it? They were 5,000 to 1 odds to go with the Prem. When was that? 2016. And you look at that, and that's that's what sports are all about, right? Like having that Cinderella story, I think, is the coolest thing. Right now, we're kind of in this repeat cycle with City winning year after year after year, and it's a bit redundant. I know Jonesy's kind of looking at me, giving me these eyes right now, like, well, hold on now. It's fun. Don't get me wrong, but I think what makes it so great is to have those teams like a Leicester City come in and just absolutely catch everything by storm and catch everyone off guard. And so to have the championship have full license would kind of give someone like myself who has access to the championship now, being able to watch that through ESPN Plus. Like I was watching Leeds versus Portsmouth yesterday. What a game. 3-3 that was. But the problem is Leeds doesn't have the cards because they don't have the full access. And so you're having to buy some one-offs, and I don't think I could even get a midfielder card for this year. So just kind of unfortunate, but that would be one that I would definitely acquire.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like the championship. Like you said, it's a shame again. It is the common theme, me saying it's a shame with the MLS, because I do feel like, I strongly believe, like that can be one of the top leagues if it actually took everything quite seriously. It looks like it gains some ground and then it's like shoots itself in the foot. But like you said, I think you do need promotion and relegation. So there's a reason to, like, even being first place is redundant in the MLS. Do you know what I mean? Because what is it, the top 8 going to that sort of playoffs, and they go into the playoff final? Is it top 6 or 8? I can't remember.
And it's split. So we have like an East versus West Coast kind of a thing. And so, so it takes those top 8 teams, and then there's a playoff. But there's just so much going on. Like we're talking about Leagues Cup right now, and that's in the knockout stages. And I know that's MLS versus the Mexican Liga MMX.
Yeah, Liga.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But even like that, there's just so many tournaments going on through it that for the average American fan, it's hard to keep up with.
Well, I think what people like, maybe like us Europeans, don't take into consideration, because again, we were saying it, I think offline just before we started, was the distance you guys need to travel to get to and from one another. So like someone like LA Galaxy would have to travel an absolute arm and leg to go to Columbus Crew or something.
Oh yeah, so a 5-hour direct flight if you can get a direct flight.
Exactly. So I can see why it's sort of split up, but yeah, it's a shame you don't do sort of promotion relegation thing. And I think the playoff things, I think just scrap in general. Maybe have your like Community Shield sort of equivalent to England. Obviously, the winner of the FA Cup and the winner of the Premier League face off in a big, community game match just to raise some funds for charity or something. So the winner of the I don't know, the MLS, like I said, it just baffled me a little bit, but yeah, what can you do? I do enjoy the league though. I do think there's some class players in there. I do feel like you guys have got a lot of talent in there as well.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the difference from the Premier League, right? That the most exhilarating weeks are the last 2 fixtures, usually 37-38, because it really shapes out the table, fighting for relegation, and the divisions below, fighting for promotion. And here, the last couple of games of the season, it's non-existent. Fans are not there. No one's there to support. There's nothing to play for. If you're at the bottom, usually at that last couple months of the season, I mean, attendance is very much depleted. We talked about New England last night only having, and I think this is, I'm generalizing, but like less than 1,000 people at their game. And that's kind of what it looks towards at the end of the season. Whereas you look at these teams in the championship in the Premier League, the last couple of games of the season, it's packed. It's standing room only. Like you have to be there to support. And it's different here. Whether that's the NBA, the MLB, NFL, to the MLS.
So you said you've been to a couple of games now. Obviously, you've been to many, I'm sure, in the MLS, and you've been to a couple here in England. What's the difference between the two in regards to atmosphere as well?
So I'll give you a perfect example, and it's actually a great analogy, because in November we went to go see Socrates and I went to go see Man City play Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, and if you remember, that game was 4-4, probably game of the season that we lucked out to go watch. The atmosphere, we sat with the Chelsea supporters, And this one is interesting because for you all, I didn't know this. You know, you don't wear your team's colors normally. You wear jackets and stuff that so people can't depict who you support. And I think that stems from your hooligan stage of people fighting and attacking each other from other teams. And here it's very much you know, you rep that team, you face paint of that team. It's not just scarves, it is full blown. I'm going in there, I'm painting my whole body to show my team and my colors. And so that's an interesting one because atmosphere wise, you know, the Chelsea supporters, I look around and I didn't know I was in the Chelsea supporter section until the game was going on and the chants and everything. And that was very cool. But then you come over here in the United States, and just this last week, we saw Chelsea play Man City at the Horseshoe, which is the University of Ohio State. So, I mean, this one, I think we had 80 something thousand in attendance for a friendly, right?
Yeah.
And it's crazy. We love to do the wave over here in the United States where it picks up in one section and it just goes for, you know, tens of minutes throughout the game. And but everybody is decked out in colors. I mean, there was so much City and Chelsea gear, and you will laugh, but all my friends who went were Chelsea fans, and I wore a Christian Pulisic Chelsea t-shirt as a diehard United fan. That doesn't happen in Europe. I would be stoned. I would not be able to walk the next day. And here it was no big deal. Like I was telling Chelsea supporters, oh yeah, you know, I'm a diehard United fan. They're like, oh, that's cool. Like no biggie. And we could talk about it. And it was very cordial. There, I think the atmosphere for you all, it's very hostile. And that's what I come to figure out is that, like I said, it's a religion. And here it's a hobby.
Yeah, you're right. I want to move a little bit on to one of our quizzes. Before we move on to the Premier League segment that we've all done like a table for, I have a little Man United quiz that you two are going to battle it out to see. America stronger than the UK in their knowledge of Manchester United.
No, I want to say I do not represent the UK, okay? Because for these, for some reason, I shit myself. So you can say to me, oh, who's RVP? And I'll be like, oh, fuck. Oh, no. Like, I'll just completely forget who it is because pressure and stuff. So, all right, well, I'll try to do my best, but don't be surprised if I fuck up on a couple of things.
Here's how it's going to go, right? So you two are against each other. It's going to be a bidding war. So I'm going to give you a statement, and there's going to be a certain number of answers, and then you two are going to bid to see who can get the most answers, and then whoever bids the highest has to name that many players or answers in 30 seconds, okay?
No. Okay.
All right, let's do it.
Start your bidding off low. So it's America versus the US. This is like the Ryder Cup for Manchester United. Well, let me put a timer on for 30 seconds before I even read.
You sweating over there, Cap?
Yeah, I'm sweating.
You look like you're stressed. You're stroking your beard.
because last time I did this, I screwed up the most simplest of answers. Okay, because I just hate it. I hate the pressure. But okay, go for it.
Right, okay, you ready?
No.
Shoot.
All right, there's 10. I think there's 10, 3, 6, 9, 10. Yeah, there's 10 Manchester United captains in the Premier League era. All right. You got to see how many you can name. So you got to bid against each other now. So how many do you think you can name, Kobe? Bid low. Don't bid really high. Bid low first because you got to call each other's bluff, essentially.
4 or 5?
Is it 4 or 5? Which one? Are you backing yourself for 5 or are you going for 4?
I'll go 4. All
right. Cap, do you think you can name more than 4?
No.
You calling this bluff? You're saying that he has to name 4 to win the point?
Yeah.
Really? That early? All right.
Yes.
You don't think you can name 4?
No, he needs to name 5.
I would need to name 5 or more.
Oh, you can play a match. Okay.
So
yeah.
This will be this question. It's not people who have just captained United on the whim, like one game here. This is people who have been announced as the team's captain at the start of the season. So in the 20 odd years the Premier League's been going, there has been 10. So that means that Kobe has to name 4. Yeah, there's only been 10.
Shoot! I really shot myself in the foot here.
He has to name 4 to get the point in 30 seconds. Right, I'm starting the timer in 3, 2, 1, go.
Paul Scholes. Right? Oh, you're not.
I can't say yes or no. I can't.
Oh,
say
you don't say yes or no. Okay. Well then I've already lost 10 seconds. Bruno Fernandez, Roy Keane, Wayne Rooney. That's 4. That's 3. Oh shoot. Okay, I gotta come up with one more. Phil Neville or Gary. I can't remember which one. One of them.
Got it. Time has just finished, and you got Gary Neville and Justin Time. You got the 4. So
Look at that. I knew it was one of the Neville brothers.
I
the
was
list of
thinking,
captain midfielders in order chronologically, it's Brian Robson, Steve Bruce, Eric Cantona did 1 season, Roy Keane,
Cantona.
Gary Neville, Nemanja Vidic, Rooney, Antonio Valencia did 1 season, Harry Maguire, and Bruno Fernandes.
see, now you say it,
Harry
it's
Maguire.
like, how do I not know? But when I'm trying to think about how many I knew, I was like, went blank. I didn't think I
So at
could
the
think
moment,
of from.
America 1, USA 1, UK 0. That's not really UK, just to say, really, but okay. So, question 2 will be the top 10 Man United appearance makers in Premier League history. Okay, you on the round, Kobe. You want to start the bidding?
I'll go 6.
I'll go
You
7.
did 6 out of 10. You went 7.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, Cap.
You want to go 8?
Take it.
Kobe, take it. Okay.
No. Give it to him.
All right. Right.
Pressure's
Cap,
on.
Shit.
your time starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Wayne Rooney, Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs, Gary Neville, David De Gea, Van der Sar, Rio Ferdinand, Roy Keane. How many of those have I got? Is that 7? I can't say.
7.
You got 7 already. Keep going, see if you get more.
Wait, how many did I need to get? Was it 7? Was it?
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? It was
So
7, right?
Yeah, so I won then.
Yeah, you won, yeah. And the time has just finished.
Pretty good.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'll read them all out in
I
like.
forgot about Van der Sar.
Van der Sar was the one you got wrong, by the way. Van der Sar is not on United.
Oh.
So,
Look at
the
that.
top to bottom is Giggs, Scholes, Gary Neville, David De Gea, Rooney, Roy Keane, Carrick, Ferdinand, Dennis Irwin, and Patrice Evra.
Okay, yeah. I was thinking
So,
of
that's
Patrick.
1-1.
Patrice Evra.
The UK are back in it. Sorry, Kobe, but I am rooting for Cap on this one.
Hey, it's all right.
Let's go.
This one is.
He's your pod mate, so that makes sense.
I think this one's the hardest one.
Oh, no. 1.
Right, so this question, the time is set, ready. So this question is Man United's top Champions League goal scorers of all time, the top 10. Now, this is only counts their goals for Man United in the Champions League. So if you said Ronaldo, it's not like Ronaldo's got like 100 goals in the Champions League. It's only his goals for United.
All right, I'll say
Top 10?
I'll say 3.
I think I could do 4.
See,
Think
4 is
you could do
such an
5?
awkward number because 5 is, I think, is too much, but 4 is like too little. So it's like a fucking. I think
You can do 5.
I
Come on.
don't like
Put
how
the
you're
team on
trying.
your back.
I don't like how you're trying to push me into this. So I'm gonna say no.
You think no already? Really?
Hey,
That is terrible. I'm not backing anymore, Kat. I'm backing Kobe from now.
hold on. I just got to think about it, right? Because I'm shitting myself.
There's no thinking.
Yeah, there's no thinking.
This is quick fire.
All right, then no, I don't want to do it.
You don't want to do it?
No, I won't do it.
That's embarrassing. Well, never mind. Right, Kobe, you just got to name 4 in 30 seconds. So
Alright.
your timer starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, Sir Bobby Charlton. Was it? Oh, Champions League. Oh shoot. Okay, hold on. Terrible start. Wayne Rooney. We'll go Van Persie. Oh, but no, that's probably with Arsenal. Ruud van Nistelrooy. 2. Actually, Cristiano Ronaldo with United. That's 3. Give me one more. Could Eric Cantona been 1? Is that 4?
How long left?
Giggs. Scholes.
4, you got it with Giggs.
Oh,
Giggs. Yeah.
see,
4.
you tell me you could have done 5 then.
You could have done
No, I was saying you could do 5.
Goals was right as well, so he would have technically got 5. I would have given him the 5.
What about David Beckham? Could that have been my sixth?
Beckham was on there. He was the 9th top scorer. So it went
Beckham
Rude,
was on
Van
there.
Nistelrooy, Wayne Rooney, Giggs, Scholes, Ronaldo, Solskjaer, Andy Cole, Keane, Beckham, Rashford.
Oh, yeah, it's quite simple then, because I thought we scored a lot more than that, so that's why I wouldn't have counted like Scholes and stuff.
See, I was just trying to do like a humble brag with Sir Bobby Charlton to show I'm not just a fair weather United fan. I know my history a little bit, so but clearly not, because I didn't answer the question correct with him.
Yeah, as soon as you said Bobby Charlton, I think everybody in the UK watching just went, "What did he just say?"
Yeah. Oh, I see. That's just me thinking the Champions League has been around since the Sir Bobby days.
So that is 2-1 the US. So there is only one more question here, and then there's a tiebreaker if it did go to 2-2. So Cap, you kind of need to win this, or I'm never going to let you live it down.
Okay, that's fine by me.
Right. So this one is a bit more current. Okay. So Manchester United lost to Manchester City in the Community Shield yesterday. There was a total of 20 players involved in the Manchester United squad. You're going to name the 20 players that took the trip to Wembley.
Okay.
In 30 seconds. So, Kobe, you won again. You want to start the bidding?
14.
14 in 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a lot.
Come on, Cap.
Thing is, if I say 15, then I've only got I've only got 2 seconds to name a player.
Each other is 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
All right, I'll lower it then. How about I go 11?
Well, you can't lower it now, mate. You said 14.
Can't lower it now. That's it.
What?
I'll go. Yeah, I think I was around that sort of ballpark, but I want to see you do the 14.
All right. So, Kobe, for the win, the Utah get 14 in 30 seconds for the win.
All right.
The whole starting 11 and the bench.
Bring the timer up on screen.
Actually, I can't bring the timer up on screen. It's on my phone, but
How heavy is your phone exactly? You're not just going.
no, it doesn't even.
No, it doesn't want to focus. Oh, it doesn't matter. Just leave it. He's got the blue.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
3, 2, 1, go.
Onana, Delo, Maguire, Lisandro Martinez. Let's skip left back. You got Casemiro, you got Bruno, you got Rashford. You've got who's up top? Garnacho. I don't. Oh shoot. Okay. Kobe Mainu came in. Pellistri came in. Who else came in? Oh shoot. What am I at? I'm at 10. Oh, that's terrible. Can I get 4 more? Gosh, there's this young boy who came in. His CDM. I'm blanking on his name. Who played left back for us? Was it Luke Shaw? That's 30? Oh,
You got
brutal.
I thought 14 was a big stretch. To be fair, that was a lot.
I guess I didn't really think about the 30-second time. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I could just fire him off real quick.
That's the same way I was thinking about. I was thinking if the time wasn't there, I probably could have named all near enough all 20, but not.
Yeah.
Not
Did I
with
even
the
say
timer.
Jadon Sancho? Did I say Sancho?
No, you didn't say something.
Collier, I think, is who you're talking about as well. That young CDM came on as well. But
Right,
yeah.
so it's 2-2. It is tied. Now, this is not going to be the same. This last question is going to be a question. It's not going to be the same format. All right. So the question is, and because Cap won, you get to answer first, Cap. You won that last round. The question is, Manchester United last won the Premier League in 12-13, right? How many points did you finish on? Closest one wins.
82.
In 2012.
Was how many points we had, right?
Yeah, how many points did you win the league on? Like, how many points do you have at the end of the
Yeah, I'll stick with 82.
86.
We get a drum roll. Right, it's not coming through on the audio, so it doesn't matter. We get the drum roll. The winner of the Across the Pond Manchester United competition is Sorare Capital.
Yeah, let's go.
Come on.
Manchester United finished on 89 points that season.
89.
Yes.
Dude, that's so funny because I was like 88. Nah, it's probably lower than that. Tough.
Well done, Cap.
What a fair
Good job,
competitor. Well done, Kobe, mate.
You did well,
That was
Kobe.
fun.
Oh.
I held my own.
Oh, you did.
You did hold your own. You did well.
Considering I live in England and you've nearly won it, yeah, I should be ashamed.
You'll laugh at when I tell you I did the hospitality for that United Luton game, and the chap that sat next to me said, "How much did you pay for your seats?" I said, I looked at Socrates. I was like, "I think we paid $1,100 US," and he said, "You're joking, right?" And I said, "No, why?" And he said, "I think our season tickets are 50 quid." And
Wait, how much 50 quid?
he said he was grandfathered in, that he's had it for that long. And I was like, are you serious? And he laughed in my face and said, "I owe you a beer," for how much that was. And I thought that was just normal, because in the States, like, to pay that kind of money, like the Columbus Crew versus FC Cincinnati's on my birthday next month, and average ticket for that is like $400. So I thought for me to go to United,
$100 for a ticket.
yeah.
And you want us to come over for a week?
Yeah. I thought it. Well, listen, we're boys now, so you got me on the pod. You know, we've got the season tickets, so it would be free of charge.
Season tickets is like 600-700 quid for the season for all like your Premier League games.
So we did sort of get robbed.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I'll tell you what, that United hospitality, if you've ever done it, Cap, terrible. That was such a waste of money. It was at some abandoned warehouse down the street. You had to walk like 15 minutes away from Old Trafford. The food was garbage. You only had selection of 2 beers, or else you had to pay on top of that. And I was like, so what did we pay for? Like, I thought this was to get the padded seat and all that, and then to have this experience to meet the United legends. Not a single United legend was there. It was really a disappointment. So
it's been like that since the Glazers came in, though, mate. You know what I mean? Like, it's they are just pickpocketers essentially. They just do everything on the cheap, and they just use us as a cash cow. Just keep milking us dry of money and keep taking dividends, and you can see it in the hospitality there. It's just terrible. Like, I don't know if you saw it when you were at Old Trafford, but there's a place called Hotel Football which do better stuff than the stadium itself, than United, and that's owned by, I think, like Gary Neville and co. So yeah, that's better. That's literally
is that the hotel that's right outside of Old Trafford?
Yeah, they host better than probably United do. So
I think we realized that too late when we walked past that hotel, and we're like, why did we not stay there? We stayed. Okay, I will tell you this. So this was actually pretty cool. The nightlife in Manchester, totally different. These girls are dressed to the nine, and they're getting out of these cabs. 9-10 girls stuffed in. In the States, these girls go to the bars in pajamas. Like, it's totally different. So I mean, dumbfounded to walk in downtown Manchester, and it was absolutely electric. A great night.
Did you go on a night out?
Oh yeah, that's for another podcast though.
No, where did you go though? I just want to know where you went. What did you go to?
I don't even remember, to be honest with you. Like, we started the night off at some Greek restaurant on the strip and got some food, and we were talking to these Luton fans for a while, and then the night just kind of took off from there. But you know what is really interesting is you all at your bars, you have the BBC News on like 24/7, and
wait, what?
yeah.
No.
We went to some pub. We went to some pub to grab a pint, and they had the BBC News on, and we were like, "Hey, can you turn on one of these games?" And the guy looked at me like, just totally brushed me off and walked away.
No, I think you went to the wrong place. I think you went to like a just a normal standard pub. Like, they don't always show the games in pubs. If you went to like a sports bar in town, then they would have any sport you want on. Like, they can get anything. But if you just go to a pub, it's whatever's on the telly's on the telly. You don't ask them to change it unless you want to be kicked in the head by a bouncer.
Yeah, they usually have like a lot of signs out the front, though, don't they, saying all games shown here and all that stuff, and then you'll know. But yeah, some pubs, it sounds like you didn't have the best of times in England. Must admit, the hot dogs and the food was shit. Old Trafford smelled like piss. I think the only thing you've actually said was good about us was the train system. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
All right, I want to just quickly move on to our Premier League table predictions that you guys have brought in. Kobe spent like 5 hours on his, guys, so I'm not expecting his to be spot on.
grueling work.
Yeah, he's been working hard for the pod.
He said Crystal Palace to win.
As a Premier League Player of the Year.
Seeing as though you are our guest, Would you like to reel off your Premier League predicted table, and we can all scrutinise it?
I love it. You want me to start top to bottom or bottom to top?
Go bottom to top.
All right, bottom to top. We're gonna start with Ipswich. I thought they were great in the championship, but year after year, those championships teams come in and they come out. And so I have Ipswich, Southampton, and Bournemouth is my bottom three that get relegated. And the team that skates by, I hope, is Leicester City. I'd love to see them become a regular again. Then 16th is Forest, Brentford, Wolves. And then 13 through 10 is Brighton, Everton, Fulham, and Crystal Palace. I think Fulham's going to have a drop-off. You know, my American boy, Tim Ream, is no longer there to reinforce that defense. So,
Charlotte, is he going to?
Charlotte, yeah. So he's back in the States. Still Anthony Robinson, who I think will probably get a move. I think he was deserving of a move after his performance last year with Fulham. I thought, honestly, Liverpool would have picked him up to be a good replacement for Andy Robertson, but that didn't happen. So I think he hangs on for this season, and they secure 11th. And then top 10 is, like you mentioned, Crystal Palace. Not to win the league, but I think Eze will, kind of take over from Olise and be the top man there. Mateta had a really good season last year too, so I think they have some pieces, but I just don't think that they're there yet to kind of fight for Europa and some of those top spots. So then in 9 I have Chelsea. Just to see them already, that defense just looks so shaky. I think they're going to give up a lot of goals. I think they're going to be the United of last year with conceding this year. So I'd give them 9th. 8th is West Ham. I really like the signing of Fulk. I think he's going to be class for them. And I really think he'll be a force to be reckoned with. And they've made some good moves on top of that too that I don't remember on the top of my head, but I think that they'll be up there. 7 is Villa. Aston Villa was great last year. I know they just had an awful performance, but you can't really predict on season-wise. So I'd slot them in at 7. And then top 6. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Newcastle United come in at 6. So I think Newcastle...
his audio just gone.
Piece.
Your audio just went briefly there.
So do you want to just repeat what you just said?
Yeah, go on.
You hear me now?
Yeah.
I said 6 for Newcastle, and the reason why I think Trippier has been such a vital piece for them year after year, and I think that it kind of weans off this year. I'd be shocked if he was able to start half the games. I think his age is really showing, and I think they have a decline. But I think Isak is the man. Him and Anthony Gordon. If Gordon decides to stay, I know there's been some links with him moving, but I think. Those two can really bolster the attack, and they take 6th. In 5th place, being out of a spot for Champions League. I hate to say it, Kat, but I think it's us. I think it's United. I don't think we're deserving yet. I'm very much Ten Hag out. I really don't like Erik Ten Hag, and we can kind of go into that if you want, but I'd slot them in at 5. At 4, I think it's Spurs. I think the signing of Dominic Solanke is great. I think he's really going to be totally what they hoped Richarlison could be. And I think him being able to run off Heung-min Son and having James Maddison behind him will really be a difference maker to get them into one of those Champions League spots. And then top, I know it's very basic, but I think Liverpool with Arne Slot will have a good year. I just don't think that they compete in those top 2 spots. And then I hate to say it, but Arsenal takes 2 because who can top Man City right now? I think Guardiola has the potential to do what would this be, a 5-peat? He's got 4 in a row, so this would be the 5th. But you look top to bottom. I mean. Like the guy in the preseason, Oscar Bob, has been phenomenal. And it's like year after year, you get these younger kids who come through and who could be just dominant pieces. And I don't know any team who can compete with that. Like, starting 11, Liverpool have a lot of great pieces. But I think, once you kind of get past towards the bench, they're not bringing in guys off the bench like City can. Nobody can bring off the bench like City can. It's the Real Madrid of La Liga. So that's my top 20. I think that's pretty fair. I thought that was pretty good in my 5 hours that I've worked on it for. Did a lot of research and a lot of homework.
All right, before we go into like so much detail on our tables and scrutinizing each other, we'll all reel off. So, Cap, do you want to reel yours off?
Yeah, sure thing. So I've gone bottom. I thought Southampton are going to be bottom. Now, I'm a Southampton lad. I'm from there originally. Recently moved up to Manchester, but yeah, it's Southampton are bottom, Ipswich, and then Leicester. So I feel like the people who have been promoted are going to go back down. I feel like the teams above have all strengthened by so much. I don't think it's easy enough for newly promoted teams to be to stay in contention within the league now, not unless there's a lot of luck involved. I think Wolves are just going to be above that because with Neto gone, there's no real attacking threat now when it comes to Wolves. Yes, you can say, was it Hwang is one, and then you've got Cunha. I just don't think it's enough. I think they're very shaky at the back. They lost Kilman as well. So I can't see them doing all too much, and they struggled with those players last season as well. Then I've got Nottingham.
What position are we on now? Because I think you've reeled off.
Sorry, 16th is Nottingham. I've got Nottingham there because I feel like they've got good enough players in there, like Morgan Gibbs-White and Hudson-Odoi, to be able to help them win over Leicester, Ipswich, Southampton, and win over those games, you know. Then 15th, I've gone Brentford, and that's if Tony stays, because there's some links with him in Saudi Arabia at the moment. 14th, I've gone Bournemouth, because of the loss of Solanke. And then I've gone 13 is Everton. 12th is Crystal Palace, although Elise's gone. They do have people like Mark Gahey, Anderson, Eze, Mateta, things like that to be able to fill that void. Fulham in the 11th spot. I think they just are overall just quite a well-structured team when they're on the move. 10th, I've actually gone Chelsea. Chelsea at 10th for me, yeah, because obviously all they keep doing at the moment, every time I scroll through Twitter, Fabrizio Romano, here we go with Neto, here we go with a youngster from Boca Juniors, here we go from... They have about 40 players, I think it is, literally across the whole board.
And it's an NFL roster.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And the fact that they've just hired... They got rid of Pochettino, and they've hired a manager who just got Leicester just about promoted from the Championship is, it's mind-boggling to me. But yeah, so I hope they stay in 10th. 9th is Brighton. I think they're going to do similar to last season, to be honest. 8th, I've gone West Ham, like you said before, Kobe. Tadibo, Kilman, Fulkrug, Somerville. Brilliant players to bring in. But again, will they be able to gel? I think they will. So 8th is where I've got them. 7th, I've gone for Villa. They got Onana and Matson, Ross Barkley. They got rid of Diaby for 60 odd million. So they've done some really good business. Do I think it's enough? I think is it the they're not in the Champions League, are they? They're in is it the Europa that they're in?
Aston Villa in the Champions League. They finished 4th, didn't they?
Did they? Yeah. I forgot. Okay, so that with Champions League is the only reason why I haven't got them any higher. As well, because they didn't fare too well in the Europa last season or the Europa Conference. 6th, I've actually gone with Spurs. I feel like they can maybe go up another position if Maddison stays fit and Solanke does score relatively similar to what he did at Bournemouth. Then I've gone for Newcastle in 5th, okay, which puts my boys 4th, okay. I feel like with Euro, when he comes in, Xerxes, De Ligt, Mazraoui, it looks like we're very, very close to signing Ugarte from PSG to shore out that midfield. I feel like we're going to do a lot better this season than last season, especially with the new structure that's in place. 3rd, I've gone with Liverpool. I feel like they're going to do very similar to last season. They'll have some slips against the easiest teams, and then they'll beat Arsenal 2-0 or something. So yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. Arsenal are going to be 2nd. I think City.
Oh, wow.
I think. Yeah, well, I think City are going to win it. I've not seen. I think Arsenal are a lot better to watch than City, and I do stand by this. I think they just score goals for fun. I think the way City play are just. A bit too basic, but it works. So carry on doing what you're doing. But yeah, I think City are just going to win again. But I think once the Chargers are actually up and running, you're not going to be a team anymore. So it doesn't really bother me anymore.
We'll talk about United's charges soon enough with the 40 million they got over COVID when everybody else only got 500,000. So we'll talk about that soon.
Go on then.
Right, I'm going to reel off mine because mine is like a mixture of both of yours and both of your reasons as well. So
I thought Cap and I had very similar teams in a lot of spots.
Yeah, well, I've got a similar team to both of you in a lot of spots as well. So bottom, I've got Ipswich. Just not got the firepower, I don't think. Next bottom, like Cap, I've got Wolves.
Wow.
Lost a lot of players not replaced. Gary O'Neill's a good coach though, so they could finish higher. Then I got Bournemouth again. Lost Solanke, that's the main goal threat. They've not replaced him yet, so I don't think they're going to have the goal output to stay in the league. Then I've got Leicester. I've got Leicester staying up, Cap. I want them to stay up. That's my heart speaking, really, more than anything. I want Leicester staying in the Premier League. Jamie Vardy for another 20-goal season to bow out. That's what we want to see.
The old man. That's hysterical.
He needs to have one more party. Jamie Vardy's got one more party in him, right, this season. Then I'll just reel off for these ones. So I've got Forest and I've got Southampton in 15th, actually. I think they've got good talent and I think they've got enough to stay in the Prem. Brentford, then Everton in 14th and 13th. Everton, the defence is unreal. Wasn't there a stat that their defence was like in the top 6, but their attacking output was like bottom of the table, and that's what kept them up. And then Palace in 12th, Fulham in 11th, Brighton in 10th, and now Cap's going to be looking at me now where I put United. I've got United in 9th.
No, you don't.
I'm joking. I've got Chelsea in 9th.
I was going to say, that's a hot take.
I got Chelsea in 9th. I've got Villa in. Well, Chelsea the same reason as Cap. Cap's basically got the same reason as me. They just why they keep trying to make a 63-man roster when you can only take 11 people out on the field is crazy.
It must cause so much unrest. Like imagine like you've just been brought in the season prior. You had a little bit of game time because you're already behind 2-3 other people. Now they're replacing you with another person. Like I don't get how they get away with it.
Free, didn't they, as well? They signed Alarabi for free at the start of the transfer window. Where's he going to play? We've got like 8 centre-backs.
They signed who?
Adarabio from Fulham for free.
Right.
And he chose to go to Chelsea over United. Where's he going to play? I have no idea what's going on with their dressing room.
He doesn't.
Look at their goalkeepers. They sign a new goalkeeper every week.
They got Jorgensen now, haven't they? They got like Jorgensen, Slalina. Who's the other guy? Petrovic.
I feel like the attack is just dire because Mudryk, Jackson, like, have you ever seen such an unbalanced striking force in all your life? Yeah. Do you remember what they used to have before, like Damien Duff and Drogba and things like that? Robben. Now look at them, like they've got no cohesion at all, and they just keep bringing players in just because they think it's going to fill a void. I don't get what it is, but yeah, carry on, mate.
8th, I've got Villa. Same reason as you, Champions League football. You can't treat it like the Europa League or the Conference League and put a second string team out. It's going to be a lot tougher for Villa. They'll probably fall the same fate as what Newcastle did this season with their Champions League football. 7th, we've got Manchester United.
Wow.
I've got them in 7th. I'm not seeing any difference. I don't think Ten Hag will last the season either.
Dude, Cap's giving you this look right now.
I just where I've got. I think there's 6 better teams and better teams in better situations than Man United. That's all I can say. I think it'll be 7th.
Okay, you're wrong, but okay, carry on.
I mean, you struggled to beat our reserves yesterday, and you didn't even beat us.
We didn't have our full first team out either. This is what you got to realise. That team will
start first game of the season, and you know it will.
Yeah, it starts because of the injuries. It's not because that's our actual first team.
4 stars
Jesus,
we had.
You did the same thing. De Bruyne was out injured. Grealish was out injured. Walker's out injured. That's the only reason you played youth, you absolute pleb.
Right. Can I reel off the rest of my list and then we'll talk afterwards? Can we do this civilly for once?
No.
So yes, Manchester United in 7th. I've got West Ham in 6th. Their transfers have been unreal. David Moyes is doing a cracking job. I can't even criticise West Ham at all.
He should have never been fired as a United coach.
Well, that's a hot take.
Wait, what? Say again?
David Moyes.
He said David Moyes should be United coach still.
Now, don't give me this look, Cap.
You're getting this look, mate. You are, because that is absolutely atrocious.
All right.
Dude, look what he's doing over there. It's unbelievable.
Can I get through my list, please?
Go ahead, Jonesy.
He's not at West Ham anymore.
5th, Newcastle United. I think they'll be just on the cusp. Just on the cusp for getting the top four. They've got no European football this season, so I think they can pull through and finish a lot higher. Fourth is Arsenal. I'm kidding, it's not, it's Liverpool. Like, I'm going to have Arsenal like in fourth. It's Liverpool fourth. Again, new manager, they'll need time to gel. Their squad is aging. It is aging. Their best players are all like well over 30 now. You Salah, you Van Dijk. I think Alisson's over 30 as well now. I'll come in like mid-30s. So yeah, I think they'll finish fourth. They'll still get top four, but it'll be close. Third, Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham Hotspur, they're going to gel this season. Andy's going to have a balling season. They're all used to the coach now. All the new signings will come in. Like, by cap, like, Googling something. Like, we've said something out of the ordinary. Didn't you have Tottenham in the top four?
No,
Kobe.
oh.
Kobe did. Kobe had Tottenham.
I had him in fourth.
Yeah, so I'm not that far off Kobe. I'm in third.
Oh, fair enough.
What are you doing? Because I know you're trying to pull up some mad stat now to like. Have a go at us.
It's
I
just
think it's not me
Hey,
for saving David Moyes. That
No,
look you gave me. It
no,
was
it wasn't that. No, it was. I was thinking because Tottenham have been leaking goals recently in friendlies, but
No, but if you look at their back line is so strong with like Porro, Romero, Van der Ven. I would probably say that is up there with our back line.
who's behind them?
Vicario. You can't tell me Vicario.
No. As in like subs.
Oh, you mean depth-wise? Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe they're lacking a bit of depth, but I mean, if they stay fit, I don't see why they can't even finish above Arsenal. That might be a hot take, to be fair.
Yeah.
So the second, Arsenal, they're just not quite there yet. And they got Champions League again this season, so they got some else to contend with it again. And then, obviously, the top dogs, the best team to ever grace the Premier League, Manchester City in first.
ever to grace the Premier League ever.
That's our treble-winning squad is the best Premier League squad ever.
Oh my God! Shut up, will
Yes,
you?
you know it is.
Shut
We
up.
talk about hot takes. I think that's one right.
Who
there.
did you played Inter Milan in the final, mate? Shut
it's the
up.
best.
They didn't even win their league. You absolute pleb.
No, it's the best. It is the
You
best.
absolute pleb. You pleb.
It's
pleb.
the best. Right. Anyway,
Nowhere near.
do we want to discuss any of the places that we put out? Like,
So
United outside the top
I'm gonna
four,
reel off a team, okay, and you tell me where you placed them, and I'll tell you where I placed them as well. Okay, so
Oh, okay.
I placed Fulham at 11th.
I placed Fulham at 11th.
I had him at 11th.
Well, look at that.
Legit.
Look at the Musketeers. There we go. What about? Let's go with Brentford.
I had
15th.
15th.
I have 14th.
Okay, so all around there. I got 15th. Okay, we got 15th,
Yeah.
14th. Okay, West Ham 8th.
8th.
I had 6th.
Great minds think alike over, you see.
I said it, Cap. I said we had a lot of similarities. When we were
They
going
got a
through it.
better squad than like those teams you've got in 6th and 7th.
You know, look at that. The two United fans thinking very much alike. Super rational, understanding.
Well-
These City fans are just different.
Exactly. Well, we do think alike up until you said about Moyes. Then we completely just we
And I
completely
lost you there. We derailed.
we were like this, and then went. Oop.
What's your next team? Do you want to reel off?
Let's go Newcastle. I got 5th,
I got
6th.
5th.
5th,
Fifth
and
as well.
6th. Okay.
We're all around the same ballpark for most of
What
these.
about your Saints? So where'd you put Southampton? Because obviously I put them last.
15.
19th.
Okay. So again, we're quite similar. All right, no problem. So why don't we talk about a couple of the little things that happened then during it? So, like your West Ham, if you care to elaborate.
Me?
No, Kobe. How he said about David Moyes.
Oh,
Being
this is
manager.
great. This is going to be good.
Yeah, see, this is where I think the podcast put me on the spot a little bit. I was just kind of spitballing and kind of forgot who was the coach there. And I just said, oh, David Moyes is great. Should still be the coach at United. Now, to be fair, I would take any coach over Eric Ten Hag. And that's being truthful and honest. I think you said a pleb earlier in reference to Jonesy. Now, I think there's an absolute pleb in Eric Ten Hag. I mean, look at what he's done to our legends. You mentioned David De Gea earlier. Dude, come on. He even still is light years better than Onana. Light years better than Onana. Ronaldo, when he came back, he was the heart and soul of that team. How you just absolutely dismiss him. Ten Hag is one of those guys who knows how to manage young guys coming through and who aren't superstars. He doesn't know what it's like to have a superstar like Ronaldo. You got to let him do his own thing. It's kind of like the LeBron James in the NBA. He's the coach. You let him call the plays. You let him do it. I know in the Euros this year it was abysmal, his like free kick ratio and all that, and he's definitely declining. But he is the heart and soul of that Manchester United team. Should have never been dismissed. Look at the fallout with Jadon Sancho. I mean, the list goes on and on with Erik Ten Hag, and I am very much still in Ten Hag out.
That is good reasoning. You gotta fight that now, Cap. Because I was Ten Hag out for you.
So, okay, so to be honest, I completely disagree with the whole. He's been dealing with players poorly. I think he's actually dealing with them extremely well. If we think about back in the era with Sir Alex Ferguson, Roy Keane, David Beckham, Ronaldo.
Look what he did with Roy Keane, though. Like, Roy Keane did something, and he was like, "See you later." Like,
exactly.
He knew what he was doing.
Exactly, but you just proved my point. Then it's like no player was bigger than the club. No player could dictate where that club was going because players are temporary. Do you know what I mean? The club is forever. So it's like these players are going to be past and present legends or non-legends in years to come. But so Ronaldo, I think he handled that absolutely fine. I don't see an issue. I see a lot of players, a lot of people saying, "Oh, he didn't deal with that very well. He didn't do this, didn't do that." He made Ronaldo listen, and that was the whole point of it. And that was the reason why I loved Ten Hag.
Did he listen or did he demand? He was demanding him to press, and he was demanding him to play his style.
Exactly.
And
but what you got to remember is that it's not his signing. If he brought in Ronaldo and was like, right, you need to press and all this other stuff, then I get your point. But because he was brought in from Ollie, who was very much the guy who was like, "Oh, boys, high five and go play well if you can." That's what it felt like with Ollie. Yeah, it was just like somebody who it was like a PE teacher. Like,
you respect him though. I mean, United legend.
Yeah,
right there.
No, I respect him. Of course I do. But as a coach,
United legend. Ten Hag comes in for a season. Oh, dude.
But that's what I mean, because with Ollie, I love him, I respect him as a player, but as a coach, he wasn't good enough, and we can't say he was because look what happened to us at the end of the day. Like, he was just out of his depth, and that's what it was. He had a manager bounce, which every manager whoever starts, unless you're Frank Lampard or Steven Gerrard, do well in. But yeah, other than that, I think he demanded respect because he needed to do that coming into such a big club. So Alex would have done the same thing if we got him to come in and take over Ollie. I think it was a respect thing, and I think Ronaldo didn't like that, and in which case then he's gone. And it's not like it's not been a negative that he's left. Like, it was sad to see him leave because I enjoyed watching him again as a United fan. But as for the best for the team, he wasn't best fit for the team, and that's all it was. Like you said, in the NBA, LeBron would always come in and, he had to be the starting 11. He had to be in the starting core.
Five.
What do you call it? Starting five.
I'm going to just quickly butt in a second because I'm just going to quickly nip to the toilet while you two discuss this. I need to go to the toilet. I'm desperate. So you two discuss your Man United stuff while I go to the toilet.
In the middle of a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
This is not my segment.
No, but like I said, I think for me, I think he demanded respect, and I think he's got it now. And that's the thing. Like, there was an issue when I think United were we were dicked by Liverpool like 7-0 or really bad scoreline when we were with Ten Hag, and he said to the boys to do the laps of the pitch and to run a certain amount of time, and he said he would join them because they are all in it together and they all do it together. So I think for me, yeah, he's got my utmost respect. We're playing better football, as you probably saw from the Community Shield yesterday. Mm-hmm. Regardless if Jonesy says it's their second team or whatever, most of the teams, City's second team is better than most of the teams in England anyway. So if we can do that against a Fulham, against a Chelsea, Newcastle, Aston Villa, then I'm happy. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel like we're going to be top four. I think the signings have been players that have actually been scoped and scouted correctly, and we've actually paid what we think they're worth, not paying for people over the odds, like for Branthwaite. We didn't pay the 75 million. Instead, we got Delict and Mazraoui for 60 or 55 in combination for the two. So we're doing a lot better business as well, and I think he's a big part of that all. But, you know, we'll see at the end of the season.
I agree with you there. And so I know this is your podcast, but I got a segment for you. You ready?
Go for it.
Who's your star boy of the season for United?
Kobe. Kobe Manu.
I like Kobe. I think yesterday's performance from Garnacho showed that he could be the next star. Like, I know Rashford for years and years for us has been really good. It seems like as of recent, he's really lacking the confidence.
Mm.
And I think if you looked at Garnacho's goal yesterday, how he took on Gavardiol and Ruben Diaz, cut on the top of the 18, and then slotted near post against Ederson. I mean, he's got that potential to be that, to arguably be our guy who can anchor. Bruno Fernandes has been great, and I think he'll continue to be the creator of it all. But I think finisher-wise, I could see Garnacho this year being the guy who puts 15 plus goals in and having 6-7 assists. I think he's a great shout for someone who has the potential to take us into, hopefully what you say, in a Champions League spot. But I would say he's probably my star boy of the season.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I love Garnacho as well. Jonesy does not rate him. He says he's another Januzaj. But
no,
they're so different.
The goal yesterday is what we're talking about, right? So, like, come on. You have to admit, the way he took on your defense, like they were on a Sunday league game. I mean, that's class. Huh?
Who won yesterday?
You want
penalty kick shootout.
Sorry, yeah, mate. You want on penalties, and it's a glorified friendly compound.
But Man City's reserves beat United's first team yesterday. That shows how far we are.
Okay, let me ask you this: United's goal or City's goal yesterday? Which one was better?
Bernardo Silva won a header. That's like something you don't see.
You won it against a right winger playing it right back. You fool.
Like, it doesn't matter. Bernardo Silva's like 5'6".
Yeah, Palestri's like 5'6". You moron! Like that's
this is why I say we are rational, and these City fans are. You can reason with them.
No,
that was a very much cut and dry answer, white versus black.
Exactly.
And he said, "Oh, come on, Bernardo Silva.
Yeah,
did you see that goal?" He was Ronaldo-esque the way he floated in the air.
It doesn't matter how the ball goes in the net, as long as the ball goes in the net. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but you get style points, don't you? And that's what Garnacho did yesterday. He floored Guardiola.
Yesterday, the biggest style points was Johnny Evans. He got the biggest style points yesterday. That penalty was that was a field goal.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Savio's pen. Dude, he up 9. I mean, that was. He showed that he came in there and was like.
What about Bernardo? What about Bernardo Silva's goal in the penalty? He did brilliant, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
Let's give Bernardo Silva out, but he kept us in there.
Yeah.
He kept the Man City reserves in there. That's all that matters.
I love how you said. Who was your starting 11 yesterday? Actually,
the only problem is with us winning the Community Shield is whenever we've won the Community Shield, we have not won the league that season.
Oh.
So you may have just found it on the title.
Let me just find it. I'm just trying to find the starting 11 here.
I counted it was 4 starters, right? And it was like a couple of benchies and then a couple of
so your starting 11 , right, which is apparently your second team. Edison,
that's one.
Lewis, Lewis has played many times over Walker. Don't tell me he's second fiddle.
He's not the starting right back.
He gets in many times over Walker.
Not the starting right back. You putting him on Walker.
Okay, Wan-Bissaka is technically was before the transfer our right back. So Delo,
no, he's not right back because Delo was your starter.
No, anyway, so you got Akanji, you got Diaz.
He is the starter. That's your second one.
No, because what you're saying right now, right, is pissing me off because you keep saying, "Oh, they're nobodies." You beat us yesterday with nobodies. You had Oscar Bob. You had Bob.
Hold on. Going for the team as normal. So you on 2 starters.
Right. So you had Edison, Lewis, Akanji, Diaz.
Yeah, you're on 2.
Vardiol. Yeah.
Yeah, that's 3.
Yeah, Kovacic. Not a clue.
starter.
Not a clue who O'Reilly is. So I'll give you that one.
He's
I'll
a monster.
Doku,
Yep, not starter. Yeah,
McAtee,
he is. I'll give you Doku. Doku is a starter.
Yeah, come on now.
I love Doku, man. See, on 4.
McAtee, Bob,
Not a starter.
and
Not
Haaland.
a starter. Haaland's a starter. So you got 5. So over half of our team were not the starting 11.
So okay, is Johnny Evans one of our starters?
I know.
Yes,
No.
he is. Because he's the only centre
Oh
you've
my
got.
god. Oh
Listen,
my
I know this is what I have to go through on a weekly basis when we do
Sorry,
these
Johnny Evans
podcasts.
is not a starter.
Right, let
But
me-
I tell you what, he's an absolutely amazing penalty taker.
Right, yeah, you said that joke, haha. But anyway, the United starting 11, Onana, okay, starter. Delo, starter.
Yeah.
Maguire and Evans, non-starters, because when we have
Why the starter Evans isn't?
how is Maguire a starter?
How is he not?
How is he a starter?
Because you have like 3 centre backs at the club, and he's one of them. You have to have one of them as a starter.
Yeah, we play Martinez at left back because we have no left back.
Yeah, so Martinez is classed as a starter, so that's 4. What's the next one?
Mainu, Casemiro,
Starter.
Mount.
Starter. Oh, no, Mount's not. Mount is not a starter. You guys might think he's a starter, but that Mount is not a starter.
Oh, I hate him.
Diallo, Bruno, Rashford.
Bruno and Rashford, so you're on 8.
And what
Diallo
you're,
look good, though. I like Diallo, by the way.
What-
I do like Diallo.
what you're not taking into consideration, you're talking about if we're looking at these names on a piece of paper, yeah. Oh, it's going to go. We've got more starting 11, better starting 11 than you, but it's not like that. We're playing people out of positions. We're not, because we had Bruno at striker yesterday. We had
Oh, yeah, well, Bruno's a false 9 now.
we had Mount starting as like a CDM. We also had Martinez at left back, right? And then obviously we got Evans and Maguire at centre back. So we're missing. We didn't use Xerxes at all yesterday. We're missing Euro. We're missing obviously De Ligt and Mazraoui are going to come straight in because Mazraoui can play as a left back. And then obviously we got like who else was it? Fucking Hoyland as well. Yeah. So we didn't have a striker because actually we had a lot better chances than you all yesterday.
Yeah,
And
that's
we
right.
should have won the game 3-1.
Yeah,
If anything.
you can't put a ball in the back of the net, and that's what's going to cost you this season.
Mhm.
I think
Oh.
defensively it'd be a lot better this season without like Varane and that, and all those. Shaw comes back as well into that mix, but I don't think you're going to score a lot of goals.
We'll see. We'll see. Like I said, as long as we shore up, we'll do right.
I think bringing Rude in to work with Xerxes, I think that could be a dominant force. That's not being talked about as much. Is
Why did he not start? By the way, why did Xerxes not start yesterday?
He's only been training for the last week or two.
Ten Hag out?
Why can't he just come in and make a cameo then? Play 45 minutes.
Yeah, I'm sure he could have. A lot of people were wondering why. So we don't know if there's another issue there, if he's pick up a niggle or he's not fully ready, because you're dropping him into a hard team as well. Like, because you played like a strong back 4 as well, which Xerxes would have looked stupid with the amount of shit we were going through yesterday. So it's like, I don't think you could. I don't mind him not being dropped. I'd rather he did. But at the same time, I won't cry about it.
Well, like I said, I put my predictions are, I think 6th or 7th is a good spot for you guys. I think if you finish anything lower than that, that's going to be really disappointing. But I think you might take a cup next season again, and you'll finish like 6th or 7th. And I think that you should probably class that as a success.
Shows how much we've fallen off.
If I was a United fan, and you guys, if I said to you guys, you'll win the FA Cup again, back-to-back years, and you finish 6th, I think that's a good season. That's progress. You've maintained it.
Maybe it's a thing in the States, but to be honest with you, I don't really rate the FA Cup. Like, I know for you all, that's like, whoa, hot take.
Yeah. Do you want to leave the podcast now? No, I'm joking.
I'm just being honest with you, right? Like, here, if I were to tell someone, hey, we're gonna go watch Manchester United play in the FA Cup, they'd be like, what's that? But if I told them we're gonna go watch them play in a Premier League game, they'd be like, oh, I could get some reinforcements to come to the pub to watch a game.
The reason the FA Cup is so big over here is because of the magic. Capel back this. They probably might be the only thing he backs me on the podcast, but it's like the magic of the FA Cup. It's the tiny teams that are like non-league, and the players to get paid like £25 a game, beating a team like, Palace or Everton or something, and them going like to the 3rd round. Everybody watches that team and sort of backs them a bit, don't they? Cap? They back them like who is it that went far recently? Someone got all the way to like the 4th round and they were almost non-league. It was a couple of years ago. They were non-league. I can't remember the team though. Chorley got far once. That's a close team to me and Cap in Manchester. Chorley got to like the third round, and their players don't get paid a lot. They're non-league. They're like, I think they're the seventh tier of English football. That's what the FA Cup is all about. It's the magic of the FA Cup. The League Cup is nobody really cares about because those small teams aren't in. It starts from League Two up. But the magic of the FA Cup is that those smaller teams beating the bigger teams, like a League Two team beating a Premier League team.
So from what I can see here, just from a quick Google, I just said how many teams play in the FA Cup, and including qualifying to qualify for the FA Cup, is a total of 745 clubs who go into it, and that's from, it says obviously from the Premier League all the way to step 5 down to the National League system. Like everyone around the country, essentially from semi-pro to professional, are in it. And there's, in England, I don't know if you found it, but literally there's a pro or semi-professional club every couple of miles, so they're everywhere. So it's always those teams that can qualify and get within it and go to the big leagues and to be able to take it as far as they do. So that's how I can't remember the name of the team that went far even this year, last year. Yeah, so it is a good competition. So FA Cup
it's all about the giant killing. That's what it's all about. It's about seeing a team get beat by a much lesser team. It's about the giant killings.
Well, you saw it, and United nearly got knocked out, didn't they? Who do we get? Coventry, and they're a division below. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, and everybody was rooting for Coventry to beat us because of that, for the pure reason that they're like severe underdogs. But that's again the beauty of the FA Cup. Like, it is that League Cup, no one really gives a shit about it, to be fair. But Premier League and FA Cup, if you win those two, you're laughing. You're doing a really, really successful season, which is why I thought we did well last season to win it.
It's also the oldest domestic cup competition in the world. So that's it's like 100 and some years, I believe, the FA Cup's been going for. So it is a big thing historically. So we do love it over here when the FA Cup starts in like November, December time.
I really just wanted to rattle your viewers on the pod.
That's not funny. I was enjoying this podcast up until that point. Do you know what the FA Cup is then, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. We thought we were educating America then, but we really weren't.
Nah.
He was just schooling us. He was pretending.
Yeah, he was pretending. Right, okay. So is there anything else that you want to debate about on the Prem table? So I still think United 6th, 7th with a cup is a success for you guys this season. I'm sure you'd be happy with that, wouldn't you, Cap?
No.
Would you rather have you not win anything and finish 4th? Or would you rather finish 5th and win the FA Cup?
4th, to be honest, because it shows progression. Like, I think with the cup competitions, you'd need a massive element of luck. That's in regards to the draws. That depends on the day, how you play, and the other team. Like, there's so much luck involved for us to win the FA Cup. Like, we had certain draws that were really easy, as opposed to like somebody else could have had like a Liverpool or Newcastle on the way through. But yeah, so I'm not bothered about it now. I think top 4, because we need to sort of establish ourselves within the top 4 section of the Premier League now. We need to start getting ourselves in and amongst that Champions League and just keep doing that year in, year out.
What I'm just going to point out before you dig yourself a deeper hole, we get 5 Champions League spots right next season. So you would have got Champions League and a cup.
Do we get 5 now?
Yeah, you'd have got Champions League and a cup then, and you just chose to not take a cup and choose Champions League.
Did I choose 5 then? I didn't know it changed. When does it change to 5 now? I thought we had to earn the rank of 5 points during the season.
Obviously, like next season we will earn the rank because obviously we'll have a lot better teams in the Champions League and stuff. We won't have to have United going out the group stages and letting us down.
Ouch.
No. We should get 5 for next season. We should be strong in Europe next season.
So you said we should get 5 or we will get 5 because they're two different.
You won't know until the end of the season.
Well, that's what I mean then, so it won't guarantee them.
But if you ask me if I were to take a trophy over no trophy in top 4, I would take the trophy in 5th. Even as a City fan, because I want the trophy. You want to win as many trophies.
How about you stop talking? Because I just want to say something to Kobe, right? Okay, because Kobe, this pleb, okay, a couple months ago, do you know what he said to me, right? When they had won, he said to me he wished they didn't win the Premier League because he's sick of winning. That's what he said to me. That's how
Don't
spoiled.
say it like that. I
No,
want some
that's
competition.
exactly how you put it. You
No,
had
no,
competition.
that's not how I
Arsenal
said
pushed
it.
you.
You're putting words in my mouth now.
No,
I want
that's
some
exactly
actual
how you
competition.
said it. And I was so baffled. I was like, oh my god, like, what the
I
hell
want
are
some
you talking
actual
about?
competition. I did say a long time ago to you that I would rather win the Champions League than the Premier League because we just don't have that many Champions Leagues.
No, you said to me you would rather not win it just for the pure sake of having to like remembering what it's not like, what it's like not to win. That's exactly what you said to me.
We're in a bit of like a phase at the moment where we're just expected to win it every season, and it's just like the league is getting like La Liga and Ligue 1, and I don't want the Prem to go that way. So yeah, I would like some serious competition. I would like maybe United or an Arsenal or a Liverpool just to sneak it like a season. We've hit the 4 in a row now, so
Well, if you stop cheating, you might be a bit closer, wouldn't it?
we never cheated once, but okay.
No, 115
Okay,
times. I mean,
it's 40 million during COVID while everybody else was getting 500 grand. That's down.
So I've got a question
you
for
know, we
Kat.
paid our staff. That's why. Yeah, go for it.
Because over here, it's very much like if you're a Manchester City fan, it's called a fair weather fan. And I don't know if you have that, if you know what that means, but here that means like you jump on the bandwagon of who's the best team. So you might not know much about football or soccer here, but you would say City because of the names like Holland and De Bruyne and the winning history of
Glory
recent.
hunter.
Yeah, so like here it's if you said, "Oh, I'm a fan of the New York Yankees," of course, like it's the best team ever, and so it's a little bit different. So is that how it's looked at for City fans actually over there, like that they are just bandwagoners, or
No,
is that
it's
more
right.
of our interpretation here in the States?
They started coming out thick and fast when they started winning. Yeah, like I honestly, but this is because I live down south as well. Like down south, obviously it's Southampton, Portsmouth, Brighton, things like that. But it was like United, Liverpool, things like that. Like you would never see a Newcastle, you never see a City fan. Like they were just none and void. Like they were just never around. But now, ever since they start winning, they're coming out like a flock of geese. Like there's just loads of them.
It's interesting because I've always liked Newcastle, and the reason why is from a movie called Goal. I don't know if that's very much an American film, but that was like a film I grew up with. You know, Santiago Munez getting his, playing for Newcastle, and that was kind of the spotlight there. I think if they did a feature, was like Nicky Butt was on that team or something. Maybe I'm like totally pulling something out of my ass, but yeah, dude. That's class. But I asked that question because we get that like when we have debates here for sports. It's when people are like, oh, I'm a fan of, like I mentioned, the Yankees or the Lakers. It's like, oh, well, dude, you're a fan of them because they win, right? Not because you have loyalty. And that's where like for someone, and maybe this is more towards Jonesy, but like for me to say I'm a Detroit Lions fan, that's like, oh my gosh, why they're horrific. Haven't been great.
I'm Detroit, I understand it. Like I'm from Manchester, so you can understand. Like I've been a City fan my whole life. My dad's been a City fan his whole life, so it's something we've had to grow up with.
Well, to be honest, I grew up in Ohio, so like we have the Bengals, we have the Browns, and I just grew up as a Lions fan, and it was just something that like
you lived in Detroit as for part of it.
I live in Detroit now, so like since 2019, so the past 5 years I've been up here. But I grew up like full Detroit, like that was just it. So my dad, that was his loyalty. And so, I inevitably support what my dad supported.
Yeah, so it's like a family thing. It drops down. Like my dad was a City fan. Used to go to games when he was younger, and he still goes now. Actually, he's still got his season ticket. But like, it's a drop down thing. Like it will drop down to family tradition. Like Cap.
What's the oldest Man City jersey you have?
Might have an 04-05 one. I can have a look for you. My drawer is right here.
Cap, what do you got for Manchester United?
Well, because I've been moving a lot, I haven't got many, but I used to have I think it was 2003-04. I used to like that kit. That's what I used to have. And then been moving around. I don't know where it is now, so which is a shame. What about yourself?
Oh man, I have an old Vodafone black and blue Ronaldo kit, long sleeve, goated. That's
this is something I want to show
kiss.
off. That is an old Palermo shirt from back
I
in the
was
day.
gonna say.
It's not quite Man City, though, is it?
No, I'm trying to find my Robbie Fowler shirt.
Typical Man City fan. Let me show you
Yeah.
all my other jerseys.
I have my Max Warren Darius Vassell shirt. I'm trying to find it for you.
The Rice
The
for
Max Warren shirt. Do you remember Darius Vassell? You'll remember him, Kat.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find it.
Well, while he's finding it, I think what's happening today is like we're seeing more City fans, and we're going to see them like more because obviously that's the reason why United and Liverpool were like so big back in the day, because they were constantly winning. And I think it's come to that era in football now where City will prevail. They'll gain a lot of supporters, but I always think Liverpool and United will be bigger. I just don't feel like City will ever, even if they carried on winning for the next 5-10 years, I still feel like they're going to be smaller in regards to stature in the club. Yeah. I just can't see it.
Where the fucking hell he's gone? I will find it. I'll find it before the end of the podcast. But no, City are bigger in Manchester than United. You see a lot more City shirts in Manchester than United, and you never used to, obviously, because of United were, Cap's a glory supporter. You can see like he's from down south. He's a United fan. He's grown up a United fan when they were winning. That's how you came into it, wasn't it, Cap? You never lived in Manchester before now.
No, but I to be honest, I find that such a dull excuse when people say that, like, oh, you're not from Manchester. Why do you not support Southampton? It's like,
you support United because you were successful when you were young.
Yeah, but I supported them because of my dad. I didn't choose at the time because my dad could have gone for Ipswich Town at the fucking time, and I would have supported them because I'm going to do that with my son if I have one. Like, he'll be a United fan because of me. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's just how it is. Like, it's a trickle effect. Like, I didn't just. My dad wasn't like a blooming Saints fan. I said, well, I'm going to support United because they're a lot more successful. It was just ingrained into me when I was younger. And I always hate that because, like, when people say, oh, you're not from Manchester, why do you support Manchester United? It's like, how can these teams get as big as they can if you only go off by the size of the city they're in? Like, it's so dull. Like you said, like, with Kobe, he would just have to stick being a Dallas fan or a Columbus Crew fan or wherever it be.
My point. I'm just saying, like, you came.
No, I'm not speaking about what you're saying, right? But I'm just saying, like, in general, when people say that, if you're not a local, I find it such a dull excuse. Especially a lot of City fans, by the way, Kobe, you'll hear say that. Oh, you're not from Manchester. Why do you support United? You're a fake fan. You're a glory hunter.
You're not a fake fan. I never called you a fake fan.
I'm not saying you're saying it. Okay, I'm just saying. I think people I speak to outside, now that I live in Manchester, people I speak to in Manchester will say that very thing. And it's just how it happens.
So, question for you about Manchester. So, I just looked this up. So, when we went in November, we stayed at the Moxie in Manchester City. So, I think that was kind of like your downtown Marriott hotel. And we stayed down there. And we actually walked to Old Trafford. And when we walked to Old Trafford, we walked the Manchester Ship Canal.
Should we pause?
Yeah, you see, my sister's kind of crawling around in the background, trying to avoid being on the pod.
Hello.
I don't think she realized that.
Oh, it's brilliant.
That we were also on camera.
That's getting clipped.
Dude, as Jonesy knows, what was that Thursday night? My other sister came down and hilarious. We were streaming. She's like, "What is streaming? Who is on there? You're talking to nobody." And I was like, "Hold on." I had to show her like I wasn't just talking to my computer screen. But my point was that we were walking the Manchester Ship Canal, and it seemed like one side of Manchester was old and one side of Manchester was new. And to me, I was really disappointed to see like Old Trafford felt like it was more on the old side, and there's an old Manchester, old money, and it's kind of falling apart. And then you look on, like, I think it was as we're walking towards Old Trafford on the right hand side, you saw these new skyscrapers coming up, and it was like, oh, why aren't we over there? Is that correct? Is that what's going on in Manchester? I mean, that was my first time, so.
Kind of. If you go around the city state and they're trying to develop the area, like they got loads of training pitches. Like when it used to be a main road, like I can only just remember main road because it's kind of before my time, but it was just a stadium and there was just like a lot of walkways. If I remember right. And then when the Etihad got built, because it got built for the Commonwealth Games in 2002, I think it was, when it was in Manchester, and they had one training pitch, and that was it. It was like you had the actual stadium, you had the training pitch, and now like since obviously the Shakers come in, you're just trying to develop the local area around, and now we're getting like a lot more youth, and as you can see, we're producing a lot more youth as well. Like Phil Foden came in, and that's just because of the development in the area.
Yeah.
So, and that's interesting to hear, because we left Old Trafford, we went back to the hospitality after the game, we had a couple drinks, and then we walked back to the Moxie. And I tell you, I felt like I was walking downtown Detroit at 3-4 in the morning, something you should not do. I felt like we were doing that. There was a lot of points where you could not walk. Like I feel like it became very closed off, and we didn't know what we were doing. I was just trying to follow like the Apple Maps to how to get back to the Moxie, because we could not call an Uber, and that was weird too. Because when you leave like an American venue, you can call Ubers all over the place, or if you use Uber, Lyfts, whatever it may be, and it's like there instantaneously. And when we left the Old Trafford, we couldn't get a ride, and so we had to walk all the way back to the Moxie. And there was points where I felt like I was like, maybe we're in the wrong spot of town. Maybe we should not be walking.
Yeah, I think you'd be okay, like from Old Trafford to the Moxie. I would imagine. I don't think there'd be much problem. I'm guessing there's a lot.
It's not an hour walk.
I don't know what. Could you not just get on the bus? Like,
I don't think we knew what we were doing, so we just walked.
You just rang us. You just rang me or Cap, and we just sorted you out with a lift.
There you go. See, that was before this time. Now that I featured on the pod, I feel like we've really gone somewhere that I could call you when I'm in a tough spot like that, walking the streets of Manchester.
Detroit, we ain't driving to Detroit.
No.
When you're in Manchester, you can call us. We can get a couple of drinks and stuff. That's not a problem.
Yeah,
I'm not coming to Old Trafford though. I've told you that I will not step foot in Old Trafford. I've told you. I'll take you to a City game at the Etihad, but I'm not stepping foot in Old Trafford.
I'll take you
I
to
haven't
Old
been to the
Trafford.
Etihad, so let's do it.
Well, there's plenty of tickets. That's for sure.
Never plenty of tickets. That is a proper myth, by the way.
No, it isn't. You guys sell what they do as well, Kobe. There's an app here called Uni Days, and it's for university students. Okay, and essentially you would use it to get discounts on, on like laptops and headphones and other sort of like bits and pieces. And Man City are actually on there to give university students discounted £10 tickets, which is like $18, and they never sell out. Like nobody wants them. No, you don't. You really do not. The
only games you don't see sell out are like against like Copenhagen and stuff. Like people don't want to watch Copenhagen. Like you'll see every Premier League game will be sold out. It always is.
That's crazy. Here it's very much a money grab. I don't think I've ever. I mean, besides like something where MLB is played every single day, and that's again another topic of discussion for another day. Where we're having games played, during the workday. No one's there. Those tickets you can find for $10. On a weekend, you will never find a sporting event for $10. Doesn't matter what.
Do you want to know this here? So I've just pulled up a little thing here on the screen. So this is for the average attendances of last season. Okay, so the average attendance. Okay, the capacity, the first place. Okay, is Old Trafford. Okay, it can hold up to 74,879. We get on average 73,500 tickets sold and people in the stadium. Then second place. Do you want to take a guess? Who do you think second place?
Is that including capacity?
Yep. So it's the average, the highest average.
Right, Tottenham Stadium.
Nope.
I was going to say the Bridge.
Emirates. West Ham's ground.
West Ham holds 62,500. Their average is 62.4 in regards to that. So, and then third place is Tottenham. Fourth is Arsenal. Fifth is Liverpool. And then sixth is Man City. There,
why are the goals when we literally sell out our stadium?
Hey,
we literally sell out our stadium. The sixth most like percentage of attendance in the league.
Yeah.
Well, what's wrong with that?
No, I'm just saying you don't fill it out.
That is filled out. You treat us like we literally have 10 fans that go and we finish bottom of this table every season.
You may as well. You're around there with Everton.
Everton have got a loyal support. They've got a smaller ground though. Everton's ground's like 40,000 on the nose, isn't it?
I just came off it. I don't know, but either way, you don't got no fans.
You've just proved what we do with that table.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
The way he always tells it to me is that we should be in the championship with our attendance.
You know,
The way he's just told it then is we're sixth highest in the UK.
you're not that bad, but what I'm saying is we've got a stadium. That's how big's your stadium? If it's 55,000, so we nearly fit 20,000 more people in than you.
Yeah, but you gotta
every
remember,
week. Every week.
You were successful for longer. We're not in that period yet. We're still in the period of winning. Once we have those fans that stay.
Yeah, but you've been winning for quite some time now. Would you not think you have more fans by thing? Exactly.
It's only just 10 years, 10, 12 years. Like, you guys were successful, like, a lot longer before.
Well, there's no point debating this. It's fine, no problem at all, because we are nearly at 2 hours and we need to. Did you have a quiz?
Oh, yeah, we got the gallery quiz.
Got his gallery quiz, which we do to every guest we have on here, Kobe. So this is. You want to tell him, Jonesy, what the prizes are and stuff like that?
I believe it's a mystery shirt for first and a mystery scarf for second. That's right, right? It's been a while since we've done one of these. I don't know who's winning at the moment. Someone is on 7, I believe, out of 10. And these questions are really tough.
Exactly.
But it's based on your gallery, correct?
Based on your gallery.
Yeah, okay.
Right, okay, right.
Are you taking it from today's gallery? Like you're looking at it right now?
I wrote these questions yesterday.
Okay, that's fair. Okay. Because I was going to say, I told you, I make a lot of moves with those bots. I am not one that's afraid to take a 30, 40% loss to upgrade. And I know that you all scoff and laugh, but my 2-3 pound cards, it's essentially trash to me. So I'd rather get rid of it and grab someone who could give me $1 or $2 off a card I actually want.
Agreed.
Right, okay.
But okay, let's go with your quiz.
Right, okay, so let's get into it. So hopefully, like, unlike Chidozi, you won't bottle this.
Yeah, that was my bad beat of the week.
Yes, it was. Definitely that fucked me over. Right, anyway, so question 1. According to... Oh, wait, before we start, actually, do you want the answer straight away, or do you want to do answer them all, and then I'll tell you what score you get at the end to hold suspense? What would you rather do?
Yeah, you can... Let's do answers right away. You going easiest to hardest question?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. All right, that's fair. Yeah, let's go ahead.
All right. So your first question is, according to Sorare data, what is the roster valuation of your gallery in ETH?
In ETH? See, that's the thing. We don't do ETH in the States. But I could tell you it's going to be equivalent to 11,000 US dollars. So I would assume what's ETH at right now? 2,000 US dollars? 2,000 some change.
You're saying $11,000?
Yeah, if you do an ETH to US dollar conversion, I could tell you it's probably around 11.
We use pounds, that's why I chose ETH. So let me go pounds to dollars.
What is US dollar to pound right now?
Well, that's what we're going to find out. This is going to be interesting. Are you going to be around 11,000 or not? What do you think? You think you've hit it on the head?
I've nailed it. And this is funny because you're pulling from Sorare data, which you've seen on the stream. You guys have blown my mind with the capability of that resource. Untapped potential that I had no idea I had access to. I thought I was paying $9.99 a month for pick scores, and that was that.
Right, okay, so I've got the actual exact amount in US dollars, right? I'm going to say I'll give you $500 each way, and I'm going to allow you, if you would like to, change your answer from 11,000.
Okay.
$500, that's a big leeway.
He's got a big gallery. He's got a big gallery cap.
Yeah.
I think I'm on point. It's around $11,000.
So you want to stick with $11,000?
Yes.
With $500 each way?
Yeah, so like standard deviation, 11,500 to 10,500 is what you're saying.
Yeah. Are you sure? You want to lock that in?
I'm gonna lock it in. You're trying to make me question it.
Trying to help you. You've given your answer. It's actually $11,889.
So a little higher. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
you're the one who gave this to be fair, the $500 swing is is a decent amount. But all right, that's 0 for 1, but I'd kind of call that 1 for 1 because the EVE conversion would call that. But
100% 0 for 1.
does
Right,
he
this should
know
be
the
another
answers to
easy-
these two? Does he know? Did he outright these questions?
Who?
Cap.
No, I do all the quiz stuff. He doesn't know any of the questions. Right,
Gotcha.
okay, so the next one is, how many total wins have you had on Sorare?
See, I don't even know where I find this data from. So this is win wise. Win wise, like I won a card, so it doesn't have to be like a podium finish.
Well, this means a first place finish, number 1.
Oh, first place.
Yeah, I don't know if this counts like baseball and everything. I don't even know if you play baseball that religiously, but this is
No.
first place
I just started baseball like 2 weeks ago. I would say a first place. I have one first place finish, and that was MLS July 4th of last year weekend.
That is correct. That is your first point on the board. Well done. 1 first place finish.
There you go.
Very nice.
All right. So that's your easy questions done. Now we get into the medium questions.
Oh, brilliant.
What is your highest finish in a rare competition? Position.
Okay, that's a tough one because I think I don't really play rare. I don't really dabble in that.
That's like
that is an extremely hard question.
It's a medium. The next questions.
Wow, that's brutal. I think in rares I've only played like Cap 240 and kind of dabble into that. I would say, for how many people are playing one, like a top, we finished 50 percentile. So like maybe in the 400 to 500 if there was 1,000 entrants.
I can't believe you don't remember this, but you have finished 3rd place on the podium in rare.
What?
Yeah, I've got it here. I can tell you who you won as well. Let me just pull it up.
Yeah, please.
So it was in game week 405, and you won Sam Vines for finishing 3rd in Cap 240.
Sam Vines, who is now in the Colorado Rapids MLS player, that his rare card's probably worth £2.
Well, back in game week 405, it said you finished 3rd.
Wow, shocking! That's a revelation. Could you? Wow, I'm stunned.
I can only go off what Sorare data says, which is it's strange that you won that card for 3rd place, but never mind. We move. We move on to even harder questions.
Oh, lovely.
This one might actually be easier for you. So, which card in your gallery is giving you your highest gaming yield?
Like what card have I played that's won the most competitions?
Like won the most like places and money and cards.
Oh, Lucho Acosta.
That's correct. It's Lucho Acosta. I thought that one would be like a nice one to put in.
What a player.
Thank you. That's an easy one, so I'll take that.
If we ever came over, that's what I want to do. Get a little signed shirt from him. He will come to us, and we'll get him to sign a shirt. Very good.
To the all-around Sorare boys, I love your podcast. Love Lucho Acosta.
Exactly. Get it framed.
I'm sure you can forge that signature for us, right?
We could pull some strings. We could figure it out.
Good man.
All right. Okay. On to question 5. So you're 2 for 4 at the moment. Question 5 is, which game week was the last time you hit threshold in Cap 240 limited?
In limited. So even like a $2 payout.
Yeah, it'll be like whenever it last hit, essentially. Do you
Probably within the last couple of game weeks.
Now? We're on game week 500 now.
I would say 490 to 500. Can I give you a range like that? Or
game week? I want the exact game week that it hit.
The exact?
Yep.
Let's say 496. I'm just throwing one out there. It's random.
The correct answer was 498.
Oh.
498 it hit. So
not bad.
It's not bad. Why have I got like some questions here that don't have answers? I must have done this when I was half asleep. So I'll skip this question while I find the answer to it, and we'll go on to the next one, which I do have an answer for. Okay. What is your current collection score on your 23-24 Cincinnati collection?
Oh,
take your time to answer because I've got to find the answer to the previous question.
Well, I'm in first place, so I know that. I think I have the highest score for FC Cincinnati's collection for limited. Score-wise, 890, I would say. I think it's 890 out of 750.
What do you mean out of 750?
Like the 5%? Or no, it's 5%, 500.
I want to know the exact collection score. So you know, like how players get like, oh, you'll get a 20 for that guy because you.
Yeah.
That guy.
Okay. Well, there's two answers, right? One, that I am in first place, which is correct. No one has, and no one will knock me off of that. And the second is, I think my total collection score for that is 890.
You're quite a way off.
Quite a way off. It's higher, huh?
It's higher. Yeah, you're 1150.
1150.
Oof.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're gleaming. You're top spot, and like you have to look all the way down to the bottom to see the next guy.
I have Lucho's number one card. I had Brandon Vasquez number one card. And you got to remember, this was like when I was down in Cincinnati all the time for these games, like hanging out in the player lounges. When finally MLS came out, I think it was like 4 weeks into the season. I knew what I was doing. I was grabbing these guys so I could show them in the player lounge. And fun fact, I did show them, I think it was Pinto, that I had his card. And he's like, I have no idea what this is. I'm like, how do you not know what Sorare is? And it's funny, another quick just little tidbit. I won Cucho Hernandez player edition card. He gave that away. And I don't know if that was bias or whatnot as a Columbus Crew season ticket holder, but I won that player edition card, and I don't even play rare, so I gave it away. I gave it to Socrates to hold for me so that he could use that card so I could get out of rares. But wow, 1150.
Yeah, 1150. So the last question that I didn't have the answer for, that I do have the answer for, is what is the oldest card or your first card on Sorare that was a limited?
That I still have in my gallery.
Don't know if you still have him. Let me check if you still have him.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's still under contract. I can tell you that it was bought on the 17th of February, 2023.
So it's a Premier League card.
Might not be. Might not be. Can I drop you a clue?
It may not be.
I'm going to tell you now, it's not a Premier League card. None of your first 40 purchases were Premier League cards.
See, this is something I had no idea I had access to on Sorare data.
I'm gonna throw this out here just to try and give you a little bit of a clue. This card you bought for £66.81, which is probably like $80-90, and it's now worth under $1.
Oh my God! Talk about an awful beat. Wow, and it's not even worth $1.
No.
Oh, okay? I know who it is.
All right, go on.
It's Lucas Zelarayan.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
yeah.
What a player.
Yeah. What a player. He was class for the Columbus Crew, and then he moved to Saudi for the money. Understandable. I mean, the MLS made a mockery of that situation.
You minus 100x on him.
Well, just rub salt in the wound.
I know, it was a nice one. I know, look at his face, he looks devastated.
I would be more devastated, but I look at it like how I always compare it is I look at FIFA Ultimate Team and all the money I've wasted, and I have nothing to show for that. At least in my gallery, I still have a Lucas Zelarayan, and the hopes that with the Crew that one day we'll bring him back to the club. So it sucks to pay it at that time, but I had a lot of fun watching him during that season, so it was worth every penny.
Would you like to hazard a guess at what your second purchase was from the same team?
From the same team?
At the time, yeah. It's not a question for the quiz, but just a little.
Yeah, so that's probably that same gallery of the Columbus Crew 2023. Right? 'Cause I think it was an older.
This guy you bought for £46 and he's now worth £1.
Eloy Room.
Eloy Room is correct, yeah. It's not part of the quiz, but yeah.
The goalkeeper. I mean, see, that's another. Took a leave for a team that I don't even think that they're in the Eredivisie this year, right? His team
he's contract to go back to the Eredivisie. I think he's cut with Vitesse, so he'll be usable again soon, I believe.
Yeah.
All right. So, question 8, I think we're on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, question 8. What was your first ever limited card reward on Sorare? Who was your first ever reward? Now, that's a tough question because you've won quite a lot of rewards.
Probably someone who's worth less than £1.
I like how you're using pounds now. Yeah, I believe. Let me check if they are. These are worth less.
See, I'm trying to talk to your audience. I say US dollar, and I have no idea what the conversion rate is for ETH. When I'm buying cards, I don't look at ETH. I look at US dollar. So, and that's kind of like why it's.
This guy, you. I don't think he's in your gallery anymore, but he hit 100 this week. I'm not even going to buy him.
Wow, you really stumped me there. I honestly couldn't even throw you a name.
He is under £1, by the way. Now,
clearly, if he just hit 100, I'm sure he's being bought up. Enlighten me.
Miguel Navarro.
Wow, Navarro.
The
okay, yeah, he was on the Chicago Fire. Yeah, he was a defender. Yeah, okay.
He now plays in Argentina for Talleres de Cordoba, and he hit an assist this week and 50 AA.
Wow.
Yeah.
No kidding. I think I probably traded him to Satonio, Basilbot, or Sir Hits for 10 cents off the dollar. So.
So the second to last question is, this is going to be a tricky one. I think I should give you a bit of leeway on this one. Cat, you have to tell me, being like the independent adjudicator, if we should give him a bit of leeway. So it's how many separate lineups have you used your one of Lucho Acosta in? I've written down to the nearest 5.
Wow.
These are meant to get really difficult, really. And
I feel like I play Lucho Acosta for like every game week in the MLS. And this was because I have 2 Lucho Acostas, right? So you're taking from just one card. Because I have his new season card. His old season card.
Oh, it's his old season one. Yeah, it's the one that's in your Hall of Fame, essentially.
I'm going to say 85.
Do we give him leeway or not?
I think so, yeah.
How much leeway do we give him is the question, though.
I think I've been a fair guess.
I'd say at least 10.
10? Look at that.
At least 10.
And what was your answer?
85.
Just out. You listed him in 67 lineups, separate lineups. 100% pick rate and 67 lineups. So that would take you to 77, which is just out. So I'll pop that. And there's the next. I did tell you on stream this is like a super difficult quiz. So don't be too disappointed. Like,
it is. We've had many people literally only get a couple right as well. So
yeah,
it's just Josie's thing. He takes no prisoners, that's for sure.
Like Sorare Mastermind. He won't know what Mastermind is, though, so that'll only be for you, Carl.
I'll tell you what, though, this is actually a pretty cool quiz, and I think this is an awesome segment. Like, you know, you're kind of making me go back into the 2 years that I played Sorare and thinking about that. Like,
exactly.
Navarro, I couldn't even. I mean, gun to my head. My family's life on the line. I would have never told you Navarro. So that's just it's funny to think back and be like, wow, you know what? That is right.
It's good to see where you've come from to where you are now as well. Like how far you've come along your little Sorare journey. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, it's quite cool.
So your final question of the quiz. I think this one's actually probably easier than the last couple. How many total rewards have you won on Sorare to the nearest 5?
And
let me
this is just cards.
It's a lot. Yeah, I think it is just cards, I believe.
Okay.
This might be like close to the most we've had on the pod. Maybe not. Not like you're probably in the top 3, I would imagine, I think.
I would say 260. I think I probably played in like 1,600 competitions. My win rate's probably something around 14 to 15%, so maybe even a little bit lower. No, maybe like 1,800 competitions I played. So around 260. 260?
How much leeway do we give him on this, Mr. Adjudicator?
So when you say this, it means he's off. Basically.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm just saying how much leeway do we give him. He's not going to be nailed on. If he was nailed on, I would have just gone, wow, you've smashed it, well done.
Again, 10, at least 10, 15, again on each side.
So tell me, am I right on competitions? I've played about 1,800 competition?
Let's have a look. Nearly just deleted one of mine and Cap's lineups for a video that we were doing then. Actually cleared off one of our thingies. Right, so let's have a look. So, Detroit Bad Boy. Right, okay, so you've got a 14.3% winning lineup rate.
Hey, that's
But
pretty close. I think that's what I said. I went about 15%.
it doesn't tell me how many lineups you've entered.
I can see that on my side, yeah?
No cheating. You can't look.
Oh,
you're not
okay, that's right, because it would give me the answer.
Yeah, I was going to say, doesn't it say on Sorare? It says how many competitions you've entered and how many things you've won.
Yeah. I'll check that right after. I'm gonna drop it down. Let's go 230. I'm gonna be a little bit more conservative. I think competition's right. I'm probably about right. So I think 230.
Are you 100% sure you want to lock in 230?
Yeah, 100%.
All right, you went more way off than you were before. So you've actually won 273. You've had 273 winning lineups.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll take it. And that's all limited. Besides that one Cap 240 rare one-off third place, which I can't even believe that I did that because that just doesn't ring a bell. Yeah. I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll just nod it.
So what's the end result? What did he get in the end?
So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. Respectable.
Fair.
Considering like how difficult the questions actually are. I feel like the bigger gallery you've got, the harder the questions are because you've got to remember more about your gallery. If someone only had like 20 cards, like I did it for Ellis, and Ellis we didn't put it on the leaderboard, but I think Ellis got like 8 out of 10. But his gallery is a lot smaller than almost everybody we've had on.
That's crazy. So I see here, I look on my pro from my Sorare, and it says I played in 1,493 competitions. I've won 279 limiteds, and I've won 4 rare, which I don't even know how that's possible. I think actually that you can win. You used to be able to win rares in some of the limited competitions.
Yeah,
and that's probably why for like those cap modes for finishing on the top.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's why I won that Vines. Because I think it wasn't a Cap 240 that I may have played third in limited, and that's why I got a Sam Vines rare for a third place finish.
It says Cap 240 on Sorare data, but I don't know. It's a bit weird. It also says you've only won 273 lineups on Sorare data, and Sorare's telling you you've won 281.
279 for limiteds and 4 in rare.
It could be one of them where you've won like two cards for one lineup sort of thing. This is how many lineups it was. So yeah,
that makes sense.
I think you've done okay there with 4 out of 10. I think you've done fine.
I'll take it. Appreciate it. That was cool.
Let me have a look. I don't think we've got anything else that we have written down to discuss. We've done the Premier League table. We've done your gallery quiz. We've done the Man United quiz.
So humor me, like valuation wise, what does your gallery look like, Cap?
About £4.
Hey,
£400.
No, just £4.
No, mine's only 500. £500. I think it's nearly 600. The moving. I used to live in Malta, literally 4 months ago now, something like that. So little country, little island off Italy. So I lived there for the last 2 years, and I was not able to spend a penny because I was not able to work at all. So I've not been able to spend any money for the last couple of years. So I've not been able to put in nearly as much as what I wanted to, but hopefully in good time. I am doing it at the moment. So I'm dabbling into rares, which Jonesy is helping me with. As you can probably tell when you live stream, he is all he does for me. He just like pick up this player, pick up that player, make sure to look at this, make sure to look at that. So
he's a madman in the middle of the night, isn't he?
Yeah, he's both a blessing and a curse.
Look at your gallery cap. You bought Morales for Levante.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good time. And I just give Cap cards as well when I don't want them, so I just give them. So like when you gave me Campagna the other day, I've still got that Campagna. Yeah. Like, not giving it away. I just gave him like Paquez out of my gallery for his right back for contender.
Yeah, and that's very much like I started streaming just to kind of get to meet people through the Sorare community because I just don't have it here. People don't care for it, and so it seems like most of the people that I talk to are across the pond, and I've been very fortunate with my life and where I'm at. So having a bigger roster valuation, and Socrates is my best friend, and I think he has over 900 something cards, and he has tons and rares already. So we're always ones who are helping each other out, and that's kind of one where with Jonesy, like I have cards that I don't use that I'm happy to get rid of, and you do whatever you want with it, and it's nothing.
Back to that, by the way, giving away cards. He gave away a limited Gabriel Sara that was like 30 quid the other day. He just gave it to somebody, just like, oh yeah, just put an offer in, dude, take it.
Yeah, he DM'd me on Twitter, and I was like, okay. I didn't even realize how much he was worth until after I sent it, and then I was like, oh. Yeah.
Great, so I'm gonna have to chuck you a couple of DMs then. All right, I know what to do then. So I know what I'm doing after this pod.
After all your viewers, my Twitter's gonna blow up. Oh.
We don't get that many, to be fair, on the pod. To be fair, when I tweet out and we get some viewers, we'll get some good.
I love it. Do you ever do it live? You ever do it live and have people come in?
We never do it live, do we?
No.
We always said we should probably do like, do you know when on Twitter you can do these spaces?
Yeah.
And people come in and speak. I've always wanted to do one of them, just live at some point. I think you'll get a lot more viewers on X. Like when I see Deke streaming, for example, shout out to Deke. He gets a lot more viewers on Twitter than he does on YouTube and Twitch. So you have like hundreds of people on Twitter, where you might only have like 5 to 10 on Twitch and YouTube, or like maybe probably a lot more than that, to be fair. But it's not like the hundreds that people just randomly click on Twitter. I think it's better to go on there.
Well, what we need to do first is establish you, Jonesy, mate, on Twitch. I've said this to him for ages. I told him what he needs to do, what he needs to set up to be able to start, and he keeps worrying about people not dropping in. So if you're listening now, keep an eye on his socials, okay? And he will do a Twitch, okay? He is a knowledgeable fella. He's a bit annoying, and he's a bit of a fake fan because he's silly, but he does good scouting, and that's all that matters here, okay? So... yeah, so keep an eye on that because I've told him to do it before Christmas. Months ago, he said, yeah, I'll do it next week. Literally, he said till after Christmas now. So I'm trying to get him before Christmas, and then hopefully that's a nice little Christmas present for everybody.
I love it. I'll be in there, Jonesy. You've already said that you want to do like a duo stream already. Like, I think it'd be great. Yeah. Oh, I love it. So yeah, and for Cap too, I think that's the most fun when you can have that banter and it's not just more one way, kind of someone carrying it. I think that's the blast because then you get all different perspectives and it just makes it more enjoyable. I mean, like, look at we've been on this pod for 2.5 hours and I feel like I blinked and I could still go for another 2.5 hours, but I know for listeners, clearly that's not the case. So maybe hopefully I fared well today and get another shout out another time. Would love to come back on, but I really appreciate the opportunity and you guys bringing me on today. And I'm always around.
We should give the Sock Man a shout out because I believe he probably hates me for the amount of different nicknames I've given him in your stream.
Oh, I love it. No, the Sock Man, he's very understandable. I don't know if you saw the stream a couple weeks ago, but he's very much incognito. He doesn't like to be
bandana. Like he's like his face is covered. He has sunglasses on. I'm like,
yeah,
he's like, do you remember FIFA player that was that guy? Do you remember in the old days of FIFA where they had that guy that go and take on all the YouTubers? What was he was called? The FIFA player. It was the guy who runs hashtag now.
No, he's
Spencer.
Spencer, yeah, it was Spencer, but he had like a mask on and like you couldn't tell who it was, and everybody was like, "Oh, who is this guy?" That is basically Socrates. That
is Socrates. You might be able to get him on a pod. He doesn't like to show his face, and that's just for his personal thing. But yeah, I've tried to get him on my stream with me. Took a lot of negotiation, but the reason I want to showcase him. Because like I said, he's got over 1,000 cards. We kind of laugh like I buy guys out of a whim. He's someone, if you go look at his gallery right now, it's at Socrates, so Socrateez. He's buying Manchester City, your guys, rare cards like he's buying candy at a candy store. He's dropping thousands of dollars. He's texting me every day. Got Ederson, got De Bruyne, got Holland rare. And it's. But So he's going into all that. So that's why I think he'd be great for you guys' pod to dive into his gallery. His is through and through unbelievable. And then for anyone listening, that's a cool one to kind of go through. And I know we've done that on stream to kind of look at some of his bad buys. You'll like this one, Cap. He's got a rare Marcus Rashford #1 that he paid out the wazoo for. I want to say it was like $2,500 US.
Yeah,
but now it's kind of some bad beats.
Oh my
I got
goodness.
on stream. I messaged that on stream. I was like, "You paid this much for like $2,500 for a Rashford rare?"
Yeah. So, but see, like how I told you, my granddad was a collector. He owned a card shop, and so my dad is very much like a collector too. And then Socrates, and so like everyone I know collects, and so for him and his gallery, he's all about #1s, and he pays up for it. So like he has an Mbappe #1, a Jude #1, a Vinny #1, and so he'll pay a premium for it. But that's
Did
just
your
kind of
dad
it.
play Sorare, by the way?
Does my dad? He likes to gamble. He likes to bet. So like over here, I think that was more prominent for yours in doing that. But physical cards, like we have thousands of dollars of cards and cases and shrines, and that's more of his thing. Older way, they like to do that. So that was kind of how I grew up. But yeah.
But I'll shout out to the sock man. I love you, Socrates. As much as you probably hate me from all the shit I give you in streams. We love you, really. But no, yeah, I wouldn't mind getting Socrates on, definitely. He's won quite a few competitions as well, hasn't he? He's got like quite a few big hitting rewards that we can talk about. Is he a Man United fan as well?
Man United fan.
Oh no, I can't bring him on there. I can't have like back-to-back United guests.
Good man. Well, you're invited, all right, so get yourself on.
I might skip that week when Socrates comes on and just let you do it with Ellis. Too many United fans.
You got to get used to it. It's more than us in the city, So it is what it is.
I've not seen a single Sorare City fan yet, so.
Yeah, that's nice. But anyway, mate, I think we should conclude it there, being 2.5 hours. Again, Deek. God, I nearly called you Deek.
Oh, you called me Deek.
That's quite a compliment.
No.
I would take a Deek compliment like that.
No, but again,
He's a mastermind.
Thank you for coming on, mate. It's been a pleasure meeting you
absolutely.
as well. I know the timings have been a bit off. I can see it's a bit dark there for you, so we will let you go. But yeah, Josie, mate, you got anything to say also?
No, check out, I was going to call you Detroit Bad Boy then. Check out Kobe's Detroit Bad Boy socials in the description below. I will see him on Monday's stream, if he is streaming this week.
So I stream every Monday and every Thursday before lineups lock. So for me, that is 8 p.m. Eastern time. So for you, you're 5 hours ahead, right?
Yeah,
so that's 3 hours in the morning. It's kind of hard for you all, which is why I don't see Cap in there very much, because he sleeps like a normal person.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
Exactly.
So I'll be in there most likely with like Hirsch and Dunk.
Yeah.
I'll try to get in there one time, I'm sure.
I'll send you some Red Bull. You guys have Red Bull over there, don't you?
Yeah.
I'll send. You give me the address, Cap. I'll send you a case of Red Bull. Let you stay up one night.
I'll hold you
See
to
what
that.
all the hype is about.
Yeah, that sounds good. And then what we'll do, we'll book a date to come watch an MLS game next season.
I love it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Cap's paying.
Shut up. All right. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching and listening. Okay, like, comment, and subscribe, and go check out the rest of the channels. But we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Peace.